Master, Castrol, Pennzoil, and Michelin. Oh, and a box of hand warmers wouldn't hurt. Get everything you need to get your vehicle winter ready at Canada's Garage. Visit CanadianTire.ca or the flyer for our top deals this week.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. Can you believe that summer is over and fall is here? With that in mind, we are offering free furnace upgrades from Daikin, should you be looking to get a new furnace. This means getting a better model of furnace that provides you greater comfort at a lower price. Plus, Daikin has the best warranty in the business. There's never a better time to get a new Daikin furnace from Weiss Johnson. We know how important a good furnace is in Edmonton, so don't procrastinate as this is a limited time offer. Visit wjheats.com today.
Sports Radio is back.
It'll be Kulak moving the puck. Rebound scores! Kulak moved in, and an Edmonton area kid has the opening goal.
The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
OJ! Ties it.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Trout to the end zone. Touchdown! Takedown! C.J. Stroud.
Well, a wonderful Wednesday afternoon. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Coming to you live on Oilers Nation YouTube, where we appreciate you stopping by. Hit the like button while you're there. It's great. Gregor Show, as always, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca, where your one-stop shop. If you want single game betting, you want to play some casino, you want to just do the lottery, Lotto 649, you can do it all at PlayAlberta.ca. Use your game sets. No surprise today. Jack Campbell has cleared waivers, and now he will be assigned to the Bakersfield Condors. And look for Calvin Pickard. He's coming up. So the Oilers make that move, and we'll see where they go from here. Can their goaltending get better? I can't see it getting worse. It'd be very hard to be worse than where they are, as they are currently 32nd as a team in save percentage thus far. By the way, $32 million tonight. A lot of 649 for the goal ball. A few trades today involving the Minnesota Wild, and it involves the San Jose Sharks. Because right now, there's a little bit of stress. Well, maybe not for you, probably not for any of you. More for me. Laughter for Connor, Declan. But everything seems to be impacting the Leahy right now. The San Jose Sharks last night pick up their first victory of the season, as Mackenzie Blackwood stops 38 of 39 shots. Sharks get outshot 39-19, but they win 2-1, and they avoid setting the modern day record for worst, or should I say longest, winless streak to start a season at 12 games. Theirs ends at 11, so they tie Arizona, who did it in 22 and again in 2018, the Sharks in 96, the North Stars in 73, and now the Sharks of 23-24. All of them had a winless streak of 11 games to start the season. But the Sharks ended it last night. Blackwood played very well. Philly couldn't score. John Tortorella he wasn't even that upset in postgame. He's just like, geez, we outshoot him 39-19. We didn't really play that poorly. Right? They score a power play goal, and San Jose scores 2 goals. Like, how about that? The Sharks, they're scoring 2 goals increased their goal per game average. Because coming into that game, they had scored 12 goals in 11 games. Now they're up to 14 in 12. They don't score a lot, and they give up a ton. They've been outscored 55-14, which is why the Leahy's on the line tomorrow night. But I'll admit, after watching Mackenzie Blackwood's performance last night, I was like, come on. But then, you know what? As you all know, I'm trying to be a positive guy. I'm like, great, he got out of his system. Because if the Oilers lose tomorrow, I've committed to growing the Leahy, which is not a good look. definitely for me. Not sure it's a good look for anybody, but definitely not a good look for me. And Cons, it's actually my wife's birthday tomorrow. And I had a few of my buddies reach out to me. They're like, "Are you serious? You're going to grow the Leahy?" I'm like, "Well, only if they lose, and I don't expect them to lose." And they're like, "What does your wife say?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't told her yet." So I told her, I said, "I just want you to know, like, this is a possibility." She's like, "What?" And she laughed. She's got a pretty good sense of humor. And she's like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." She goes, "Why would you do that?" I'm like, "I don't know. It kind of came out. I wasn't even thinking about it at the time. And then it just kind of came out." And I was like, "I'm sure Strutty might tell you before." So I just wanted to hear from the horse's mouth. So could be a real late evening birthday gift. Hey, honey, the Leahy's coming out. Happy birthday. So
now on Twitter, Adam Bodnarchuk.
yeah, Adam, you know what, Adam? I think that was an unprovoked, uncalled for attack. I don't know if that was necessary.
Well, we've got the photo up on the YouTube stream now. How accurate would you say that this depiction is of you with the cul-de-sac, the Leahy? Like it looks a little gray, a little salt and pepper,
Mm-hmm.
but
Well,
pretty
I don't
thick
know.
on the sides.
My beard's all of a sudden salt and pepper, so I would guess that it might be salt and pepper on the sides too. The problem is because I committed to God, that looks awful. Like beyond, I just put it up. Are you kidding? Take that down. Like our viewers are like throwing up probably. I'm kidding, but yeah, like honestly, it would be terrible. Like you saw me and then you see it, put it back up on screen, Cons. If you look at it, look how much older I look.
This is all Declan, by the way.
Yeah. But look at it. Like you look way older when you sport the Leahy. Like no one's looking younger. No chance, which is why I'm always surprised that guys hold on. Like they're holding out hope. The worst part is like the shaggy part at the top that he's got on the back. It almost looks like a shadow. God, that would be terrible. Like it would be the worst, honestly. Like I could see like the first week it'd be haha funny, but after that it would wear off pretty quick, at least for me. So I'll tell you right now, man, if the Oilers lose that game, I will be I'll be very annoyed for a long, long time.
It was the 7-month commitment for me that really put it over the top.
Yeah. That part was exact. My wife's like, "What?" So that was the part that was really stupid. Like, hey, I've said some dumb things in my life, but this one might be right up there. I don't think there's any question in that one. So, hey, Gregor, when will you admit Carter Hart is the answer? Yeah, but you can't use Carter Hart, my man, Kyle from Mill Woods, because him and Schwartz have worked together before. So that's not allowed in Edmonton, right? Dustin Schwartz is the root of all problems in Edmonton. Get rid of the goalie coach and everything will be better, according to some fans. Like I've said before, if you want to change the goalie coach after this long, fine, change the goalie coach. Just you can't make false claims on top of it. That's all. You want to change the goalie coach? I can understand why people would say that. I get it. Totally understand it. But it's like saying if you fire Dave Manson, the new defense coach is magically going to get Evan Bouchard to play better defensively. You can't get inside the head of a player and get them to do what you coach them to do. You can't do it. It's impossible. I don't know if Evan Bouchard's like I said, and people ripped me when I said it in the summer. I said, at least as an option you could look at. Because Evan Bouchard's offensive numbers means he might get a pretty hefty contract. But his defensive game is not there yet. Remember this summer, people were like, well, the Oilers should sign Bouchard right now to a $7 million deal. And I was like, why? You bridge players until they earn huge money. Because Evan Bouchard's offensive numbers this year, yeah, very good. What about his defensive game? Imagine if Evan Bouchard was making $7 million right now. People would be freaking out. Schwartz wouldn't even be mentioned. That's how much anger there would be for that. So, boys, that's a Friar Tuck. You call it the Friar Tuck. You call it the Leahy. I call it terrible either way. But yeah, you're right there, Dunner. It's not a great look. Guys, I'm a diehard Oiler fan, but I will readily admit I would much rather have the Oilers lose to see Gregor wear that for 7 months. Oiler fans right now, we need something to rally around. That would be it. Doug, first, I think that's a little harsh. I don't know if they want to rally around that. Okay. And Doug, I question your motives. I question your motives. I think you'd still rather the Oilers win. I think you would. So, hey, Gregor, it's a win-win for us listeners. Let's be honest. From Metal B, I guess. Yeah. But imagine if the Oilers lose to the Sharks. Well, here's hey, Gregor. So the Oilers lose. A, I win because you have to embarrass yourself. But B, maybe there's some significant change. I actually think it's a win-win-win from Daniel. Oof, the triple win. Oh, there you go. See. Hey, guys, with the Oilers looking into Binnington, isn't that like the last goalie they need? He's a head case on the back end. A guy like that they need a glue guy. This team's being very fragile from Hersey. Now, Hersey, I saw that. I don't really see how that makes sense. Right? You look at it, his contract is more than Jack Campbell, right? So St. Louis is looking to dump the contract, most likely, right? He's got him and Campbell, the contracts ends at the same time. So you're getting a goalie who has been better, I'll admit, right? They're not that it's hard to be, but yes, has been better than Jack Campbell. That's valid. But do you want to tie up $6 million in Binnington? Like, Binnington's off to a very good start this year. I think he's like a 920. I'll look it up, Cons. I think he's a 920. But how many years has he not been? And right now, if you're the St. Louis Blues, you're not trading Binnington for Campbell and whatever other parts are available. Like, I think you'd have to give up significant other parts to make that deal, because the salary cap is essentially the same, right? Edmonton takes on $1 more million, but I would assume St. Louis is going to want something else in return. So that other player is going to be at least $1 million, I would guess, or $890 or $850, $875, whatever the number is. So, like, Binnington, yes, he's a Stanley Cup winning goalie. I would agree. That's fact. Can't take it away. You can't ever take it away. That's what the guy's earned in his career. And for that year, he was unbelievable. But what has he done since then? Right? He went 912 down to 910 to 901 to 894. Now, he's had a good start this year, 8 games. But if you look at his last 100 games, he was a sub 900. So I'm not sure I'd be ready to jump on Binnington just yet. I don't know. Like, he's played well this year. I totally agree with that. It's 8 games. I would want to talk to, I'd have to get Woodley on. Maybe we'd call Woodley. Like, what does his scouting report tell you? What is Binnington done different maybe? Has there been any significant technical changes in his game that will say this good start is sustainable? That would be my one question. I don't know the answer. I haven't watched the Blues enough to have an informed opinion on it. I will ask Woodley. I think he would have a good one. So to me, that's the part that I would look at for sure, is to kind of see where where he's at, what technical changes has he made? Because I don't think you just come back in and suddenly after 4 years of regression, you just get good again, right? Like, there's got to be something technically worked on. So I don't want to find out what it is. Oilers, hey, as the GM, you look at all options. But if I'm St. Louis, if I'm getting rid of Binnington and I'm getting Jack Campbell, whatever other pieces I'm getting, right, how does that help you? Unless it's for Stuart Skinner. But now you've got Campbell in the minors at 3.85 and Binnington at 6. I don't know how you do that either. So, hey, Gregor, how about addressing the bottom 6? It's not all on D and goalie. The bottom 6 is soft, easy to play against. Improving in the bottom 6 should help the defensive play and possibly add some 5-on-5 scoring from Crow's Nest. Oiler, what's interesting about the bottom 6, you are bang on that the Oilers' bottom 6 has not produced. That is 100% accurate. Can't argue it. Right? They have not produced at all 5-on-5. Right? You look at Like, I don't think they don't have a point. Anybody in the bottom six. They scored some power play goal, assist here or there, but that's it. All right. What's interesting, though, is if you actually look at their numbers, and I agree with you, they don't like Dylan Holloway. I still think there's a player there. I do personally. I thought he played better. He got a little bit more ice time. And I understand it's one where you have to earn something. But like, despite the Oilers like scoring nothing in 11 games, they're not leaking goals against, funny enough. Right? Like, Ryan McLeod's been on the ice for 3 goals against. That's it. Right? He's out when he's on the ice, he's out shooting teams 70-50. They can't score. Right? Dylan Holloway's out shooting team when he's on the ice 68-50. Raphael Lavoie in only 2 games is 11-8. Like, they haven't been getting manhandled in that regard, but you're bang on, they haven't finished. And that's a pretty important part. But their defensive game's actually been okay. I haven't seen a lot of glaring defensive breakdowns from the bottom 6 forwards. We've also seen nothing offensively. Raphael Lavoie brings them some size they didn't have. You know, Holloway, if he plays more like he did last game, and you saw him, they kind of switched up, right? They kind of spread those guys out. You had Fogle and Holloway with Draisaitl. That trio, actually, I thought played pretty well against Vancouver. Resulted in a goal. So I think the bottom 6, would I like a little bit more on the 4th line? I think that's fair. The 3rd line, I think, has something. It just hasn't gone in yet. But I think overall, there's lots of things to like about the 3rd line other than their production. And if I look at history, I think they might be able to produce. Coming up on the show today, Who Is It Wednesday? I'll give you some hints on this. It's our guest today, and Who Is It Wednesday, won an NHL Individual Player Award, the 20-goal scorer, a Stanley Cup winner, member of 7 different NHL teams. Okay, those are a few hints today for Who Is It Wednesday. When we return, we're going to talk a little football and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
How do we do it? Well, at Leading Edge Physiotherapy, we invest. Our money and time goes right back into technology and training, and it's all designed to get you back into shape. We invest in people, the people who really care, and they understand how your body works. Then they combine their experience, training, and skills to work with you to help you solve your issues, be it pain in the back, neck, arm, shoulder, heel, literally head to toe. Leading Edge Physiotherapy, always taking new patients because we keep fixing the old ones. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Story time with Mr. Rooter.
Mr. Rooter, can you tell me a bedtime story?
Sure, son. But can you just call me Dad?
Nope.
How about Papa?
No, you're Mr. Rooter.
Okay, son. What story this time?
Can you read the one about the sewer roots?
No way. You know how you get root nightmares.
Please.
Not a chance.
Please. Papa?
Oh, boy. Just don't tell your mother.
You mean Mrs. Reuter?
For a plumbing story with a happy ending, call Mr. Rooter.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports20.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mr. Reuter Plumbing. At Mr. Reuter, they only employ the finest organic, grain-fed, free-range plumbers. For all your plumbing needs, go to mrreuter.ca.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West, a state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness.
221, welcome back. The Hump Day edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, live on Oilers Nation YouTube. Of course, a late night in the NHL tonight, and then it heats back up tomorrow. Oof, the basement battle. I don't think anybody thought that was coming, but here we are. Oilers and Sharks tomorrow. 31st and 32nd place teams. Many thought the Sharks would be there. Nobody thought the Oilers would be there. So we'll take a little detour from that, because let's be real. You don't want to focus on the basement bowl all the time. Let's get to the football report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter at legacyheating.ca. Our next guest is an Alberta resident, pride of Medicine Hat, who is now starring as a wide receiver at Stanford. And, of course, with all the hype around Colorado and Deion Sanders, you saw a few weeks ago, had the huge touchdown reception. Elic Ayom Manor joins us. Elic, welcome back, or welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm awesome. So a kid, tell me about the little football journey background from Medicine Hat to Stanford.
Yeah, it's quite a far journey. I originally moved to New Jersey. First, I had got there through like playing on Team Alberta and just kind of getting noticed by people, and met this guy named Justin Dillon out in Toronto, and he kind of got me hooked up with some schools down in the States. So I went to New Jersey first, and then moved up to Massachusetts, where like I'd finished out my high school career, and got recruited really from everywhere in the country from there. And Stanford was my dream school from the beginning. My mom has always been big on academics, so that was kind of my plan from the beginning, and I ended up getting offered here and came here.
So I want to kind of go back. You're playing for Team Alberta. I know there's lots of football players that end up going south just because, there's more opportunities to play. There's, often there's better competition at times. So how did you make that decision? You went to New Jersey. Like, did you go to a prep school?
Yeah, it's like a boarding school, prep school. You stay on campus, board there. There's dorms and everything like that.
Okay.
It was really, really hard to convince my mom. I'm 14, 15 years old, telling her I want to move to a new country and live on my own. So it took a little bit of convincing there, but I think in the end she understood like it was for a greater purpose.
So you're 14 when you left, and like, do you get a billet? Where'd you live?
Yeah, so we have dorms on campus. Like the schools are boarding, so most of like the students board on campus in dorms, you'll have like one roommate your underclassmen years, and then your upperclassmen years you just live on your own in a single dorm.
How was that? How was your cooking skills?
So we have dining halls and things of that nature, so we don't actually have to cook.
Okay.
But living without like the supervision of your parents that young is definitely interesting. It's an interesting experience.
Dude, I couldn't imagine. Like, you must be fairly self-disciplined.
Yeah, I think going to schools like that kind of forces you to be, because like academically they're pretty rigorous. So you have to learn how to be smart with your own time, because nobody's really watching you and making sure that you are, so that you can succeed in all those ways.
So you go there. How do you feel it helped you? You know, you talk about growing as an individual. So you kind of had to look within. You had this goal that, you know, you wanted to go NCAA and you want to go to a college. So that's one of your main focuses. But how was, you know, improving as a football player? What was the biggest advantage for you football wise?
I think it's just the sheer like amount of athletes that are skilled and know like the game of football in and out like the back of their hand. I think moving from Canada, I didn't really know too much about football. Like, I wouldn't say I was a football player yet. I was kind of just an athlete who played football, and I was good because I was just athletic. But moving to the States, like, that's not enough to make you good at football. You need to learn the game and become a football player, not just an athlete. I think that was the biggest jump for me, just like those small technical details that you need to be a great football player.
I'm assuming you must have ran track. Most of the elite football guys have ran track at some point. What did you like running the best?
I ran 1 and 2, and then the 4x1 relay.
And what's the fastest 100 you've ever had?
10.6 is the fastest 100 I've ever run.
Oof. Nice. Now, do you run it all at Stanford, or is it 100% football?
No, just 100% football. I think if I wanted to run track, I'd have to lose quite a bit of weight. The guys here run like in the 9 seconds. We had a guy, Udodi, who run like 9.92 this year. So.
Like, you're fast at 10.6, eh? But it's funny, if you ran, like, if we put the video up of a guy running 9.2 and a guy running 10.6, you know, you're like 8 meters behind. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, they're moving different pace. So,
so yeah, you're 6'2", 210 pounds. Is that right?
Yeah, I think I'm closer to 215 now that I've been in a college strength program for a little bit, but.
Give us, because a lot of people here have never been to Stanford. We've heard of Stanford. Obviously, it's a pretty highly regarded school. You wanted to go there. Obviously, you chose to go there because, you know, you had options. You chose to go there. Can you kind of give us a little insight into how the education is at Stanford? Yeah, I mean, it really does live up to its name. It's some of the best education in the world. But given that, it can be like hard at times to balance that with like a Division I football schedule. You kind of have to decide if you want to be good at school, good at football, or good at there's 3 things in your life. You have your social life, your school life, and then your athletic life. Okay. And to me, like, you can only really choose 2 to excel at. So like sometimes your social life is going to struggle a little bit, but that's why you have like your team. Like you really become best friends because you're spending so much time together. And it's worth it. It's what I can ask for, nothing more. We are joined by Elic Ayom Manor. He, of course, is a wide receiver at Stanford University. First full year playing. And Elic, you know what? You wanted to go to school, and you guys go up against Colorado. And because of Deion Sanders, you know, people are talking about it. You're trailing 29-0. And then you guys come back, and you make this ridiculous overtime grab. How did it kind of change for you suddenly since then after making that overtime catch? I would say, honestly, like nothing really changed in my process. I'm still the same dude. I still do the same things. I still work just as hard. But obviously there's a whole bunch of more publicity and stuff like that. And I think a big game like that just gives you a lot of confidence in what you've been doing. And it allows you to really play freely and like within yourself. Is that the most hyped game you've been a part of? Yeah, I mean, in my whole football career, I've never been a part of a game quite like that. Like, not that it was just hyped and it was on Friday and we were the only game playing and it was on ESPN and it was against Deion Sanders, but just like the whole circumstances of the game going into 2 overtimes and us being down 29-0 at half. I've never really been a part of a comeback like that my whole life, and it was crazy. Oh, I would think so. Now, you mentioned your mom, you had to convince her when you were young to move away. Has she been able to see you live at Stanford yet?
Yes, she has. She came to the first 3 games, and now, I got injured the last game she was planning to come up.
Okay.
I ended up playing anyways, but she's going to be coming to these last 3 games of the regular season too.
All right. How, like last year, you didn't appear in any games as a freshman due to injury. So now you're in it and you're playing. Like, tell me kind of how the mental challenge was last year for you, because I'm assuming that was the first time in your career you'd ever had that serious of an injury that it kept you off the football field for that long.
Yeah, you just have to learn how to be patient. You know, you can kind of get envious of the other players playing. You think to yourself, "Oh, I could do that right now," or "If I was healthy, I'd be able to do that." And you just have to learn to be patient and trust the process and just stick with it, because it can be easy to kind of fall off a cliff when you get injured like that.
Do you have any tips on how to be patient? I'd love it. Anybody who knows me in my life, I'm not a very patient person.
Yeah, I have 0 tips because it was very, very hard for me as well.
Oh, yeah, I could imagine. Are there any, like, when you watch other receivers, are there receivers that, not that you necessarily pattern yourself at, but you look at certain things they do and then try to say, hey, this is what I want to do?
Yeah, of course. I mean, a really obvious one for me is Michael Wilson. He's a guy that got drafted from here last year.
Okay.
He's in his rookie season in the NFL, and I got to watch him practice all last year and just see the things that he did great. And I watch his film to this day and just see what he did and try to replicate it. Obviously, there's those NFL guys like Devontae Adams comes to mind immediately. And it's really just anybody. Everybody has something to offer, and you just have to find what they have and try to add that to your game.
Do you have a CFL or NFL team that you root for?
I don't have any NFL teams, but I grew up on the Rough Riders because my family's from Saskatchewan. So
okay, all right. Did you ever? You must have went to a few Rider games in your young life.
Yeah, when I was really, really young, I went with my grandpa a couple times.
Okay. You look at it, and do you have, like, what are you taking first of all at Stanford right now?
I'm a computer science major is what I'm planning on doing. So.
Okay. And so, because I know there are some people that go NCAA and where there's 120 schools or something. So I'm like, you know what? I'm coming here. I love football and playing education, but afterwards, yeah, maybe I'd go pro. But a lot of players are comfortable knowing that, hey, you know what? This is going to be the end of my playing career because I want to go into, medicine. Maybe I want to go into computer science. Do you have pro aspirations?
Yeah, my goal from the beginning, when I moved to the United States, my end goal was to go to the NFL, and it still is. That's what I want to do with my life, and I will not very easily let go of that goal. So I'll try to stick around for as long as I can.
So with that goal in mind, Elic, because you've progressed obviously along the way very well. Now you're at a Division I school, right? What we've seen in the highlights, you can make plays. As a receiver, what do you feel like? What's going to be the thing that's going to allow you to give yourself a realistic shot in a few years to turn pro?
Yeah, I think one thing that I've really been working on this year and my coaches have been emphasizing is just playing fast, playing to your speed, because I'm athletically gifted. I'm a very fast person. But sometimes when you get in the game and you have this play, you're hearing all these different words, you're seeing all these different signals, you have to look at the coverage. At times you can start playing slower and not to your full speed, and that can really affect how you play. I think playing fast is super important, and that's something that I really need to work on and keep improving on.
If Stanford players are lined up at the goal line and it's a race to midfield, who's winning?
I'll put money on myself for sure, but it'll be close between me and Bryce Farrell.
Bryce Farrell. Okay. So that's your main competitor. Is there anybody that would be a surprise?
A surprise?
Like somebody say, you know what? If they're a dark horse,
Yeah.
This guy might be the dark horse.
Yeah. Ashton Daniels is the dark horse. He's our quarterback.
Oh.
So he's not really known for running, but he hits very high top speeds on our GPS trackers.
So you guys have GPS trackers now in practice or in games?
Yeah, both practice and games.
So you can track yourself and they track your speed. And so how you're coming out of certain routes and at what speed?
Exactly.
Oh man. How does that help? Like, does it just help in the technique factor when you know what? You go watch the video and you see here I came out and I'm just going to pick a number because I have no idea how fast it would be. So I come out of this route at a 6.2. And then the next time I'm at a 6.6. What's the difference in that that's allowing you to be faster or slower?
I think they will see our acceleration is more so what that is about, and then they critique our technique and show us how our body mechanics should be and how they were, and that's what helps bring those numbers up. And then obviously just getting in the weight room, getting stronger, and more explosive.
What's your favorite movement in the gym? What do you love doing?
Sorry, what was that?
What's your favorite workout in the gym?
Oh, I'm a big clean guy. I love clean.
Oh, cleans. Look at you. Hey, buddy. That's probably why you're fast. Elic, I really appreciate your time. Continued success. We're going to hope to talk to you over your next few years at Stanford, and enjoy the rest of the season.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
That is Elic Ayom Manor from Stanford. Many of you probably were watching that game. It's a huge game. It's on ESPN. That's Friday night, the only game in town. And then they're down 29-0. I remember at halftime, everybody was just like, "Oh, Colorado, they're the greatest team ever." Right? I think Deion Sanders was going to become an NFL head coach the next day. And that's why we love sports. Because I don't think anybody would have predicted it. That they would come back and tie. Then they go into double overtime. And then Ayom Manor. That is, Conza, you're a huge football fan. I know you and Declan were talking about that a few weeks ago afterwards. It was just an unbelievable regular season game. You just don't see games like that very often at any level.
Yeah, I mean, that was, I won't say max hype for Colorado, but pretty dang close to it. And then to go up against Travis Hunter, who some people think might be one of the best players in the country. He plays offense, defense. The guy's an absolute stud. And to go wrestle the ball out of his hands the way he did, the yards after the catch, he's an intriguing prospect. And just hearing how he speaks, it sounds like he knows what he has to do to make it in this, make a lifestyle out of the football profession, whatever league it might be. He's going to be someone to follow along. 6'2", 210, good size, good hands, good after the catch. Really intriguing and very cool for him to come from Medicine Hat to be on the biggest stage like that and perform the way he did. Because in that second half, Gregor, he absolutely went off. And then we're in a situation where he's going to get an opportunity to make the play, and he still goes and does it against one of the best DBs in the country. Very impressive what he was able to do. And he's had a few big games, one against Washington as well. So, I think we'll hear his name a little bit more as his Stanford career rolls on.
Yeah, no, it'll be great. And what was interesting, I loved his answer when he talked about it. And I think for any parent who has a young athlete who has aspirations, whether it's to go to junior if you're in hockey or, university or college and then ultimately pro, you heard him talk about it. He goes, you have three things in your life. You have your social life, you have school, and for him as an athlete, obviously you have your sports. He didn't think you could excel at all three. So you kind of have to pick which ones you want. And obviously, some will choose their most, if they're athletes, they'll choose athletics as number one for sure. But then some will choose the social over the school. And then you get out of school and you know what? It's really hard to go pro. The few who make it, unbelievable. And I think that's probably one of the best, most simple ways you can explain it as a parent to your young son or daughter when they're looking at going that route. And just say, you know what? Here's your three, man. You're gonna have to choose. And ideally, as a parent, we all know what the parents are gonna say. Hey, school for sure. Right? And obviously your athletics, if that's what you want. And then you can sprinkle in a little bit of social time. But I think that was very accurate in how he presented that. Very accurate. So, hey guys, great interview. Sounds well-spoken and motivated from Ross. Ross, I wholeheartedly agree, man. Very well-spoken young man. Think about, now sure you have a dorm, but I like what he said. He goes, living on your own at 15 away from your parents, you have to grow up. You have to. And as a parent, think about right now allowing, because you want your kids to follow their dream, but that's a big, you have to let go a lot as a parent, mom or dad, to not, because it's not like he was, okay, you know what, we're living in Edmonton and I'm going to follow my dream into Calgary or Red Deer, right? Where mom and dad could drive down every weekend. Heck, they could go down on nights back and forth sometimes. Now, you're talking going from Manitoba all the way to New Jersey. That's not a car ride. I guess technically you could make it a car ride, but it'd be a few-day car ride. Like that, it's a big commitment and there's no guarantee. Cons, you mentioned he's a good prospect, but there's no guarantee that he'll go pro. right? Not at all. I really hope he does, but it's highly competitive, right? So you put all that work in and, sometimes you're 22, 23 and geez, it didn't happen. Now, I don't think any athlete who's 23, they come out of college and they don't get to go pro, I hope they have no regrets because they did everything in their power. And you know what? It doesn't work out for everybody. And if you get an education, you learn a lot about your life. You probably become a really good teammate. You know how to adapt and work with others, right? You clearly have good commitment. You're able to commit to something and put in a lot of work. You'll likely be successful in lots of other things. But I could see how that would be tough as a parent. Right? There's lots of sports where 15, 16, sometimes you just got to move away because your best opportunity is there. So, hey, boys, he's going to Stanford. Not many fools attending there. I like it. Great interview from Vegreville Greg. Very true. Very true. He's clearly got his head on his shoulders, Cons, and he'll be a guy that we'll be watching. Have to get him on kind of once a year. So this is his set. He's 2 more years, right, Cons, till he's draft eligible?
You're eligible after your 3rd year out of high school, so sophomore season.
So he's got 1 more.
Yeah, 1 more junior year, then he could be eligible. See, you always see the CFL teams take a flyer, right? You'd be crazy not to, just in case, get that passport in the lineup. But I wonder, he puts up a few more big games against some, powerful programs. You never know. He's got the size. He shows up on film. He'll be someone to watch.
240, Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Yaremchuk will join us. Binnington. Is there an appetite? Oiler fans. We'll discuss next. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sports book, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
When you hand deliver a hamper to a family in need, everyone's hearts fill with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper Program, a charitable experience unlike anything in Edmonton. Sign up to adopt a local family, fill a hamper with food and gifts, then bring it to their door and see the difference you're making firsthand. With the rising cost of living impacting so many families, the need has never been greater. Sign up for the Holiday Hamper Program today at holidayhamper.ca.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready sales event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh, fine print.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
Since 1987, Ram Elevators and Lifts has been raising the bar and more by manufacturing superior elevators for both residential and low-rise commercial buildings. What drives them? A vision of accessibility, because they know that an elevator or lift is more than just a mechanical device. It's the freedom to go where you want. Ram's North American-made elevators, starting as low as $32,900, are rated as the best residential elevators by Forbes magazine. Grounded simplicity, elevated design. Click on trustram.com.
It's time to change the game. Hundreds of boys are waiting for a male mentor like you. And the new Game Changers program at BGC Bigs makes being a mentor easier than ever. All you need to do is show up ready to play. Sports, board games, hands-on projects. The choice is yours and your mentees. Be a game changer in the life of a young person and help set them up for future success. Hurry, the deadline to apply is Monday, November 20th. Learn more at bgcbigs.ca/gamechangers.
Did you strike out on booking Network Travel's 2023 baseball trip to see the Jays play by the Bay in Seattle? Well, registration is now open for the 2024 trip next season. Want to fly in for the Sunday, July 7th game and return the same day? Or do you want to fly in Saturday morning and catch both games that weekend with an overnight stay? Either way, it won't be long before Network Travel has a full count for both options. So book today at networktravel.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa's service department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
She never knew that there was anything more than gold. What in the world does your company take me for? Black bandana, sweet Louisiana, Robin on a
2:45 on a Wednesday afternoon. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Gregor Show, as always, is presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Now, let's get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, until the end of the month, they're going to have a Black Friday deal, but it's all month long where you can get $75 off your vehicle. You want an S60, XC90, XC60. They got them all, or you can get financing at 1.49%. It's your choice. Stop in now at volvocarsedmonton.com. As we welcome to the show from Oilers Nation, Tyler Yaremchuk. Would you be in favor of a Binnington? And what do you think a Binnington trade would look like realistically for it to happen for Edmonton?
Well, here's the complicated part is both those teams are really tight up against the cap, right? So if you're going to do it, like Edmonton obviously would have to lose Jack Campbell's $5 million in the process. And then St. Louis, they're losing Binnington at $6 million. Edmonton would have to send basically $1 million back somehow, but then the call-ups could complicate it. Like the salary cap side of it just makes it out to be such a difficult deal that I don't know if he's a realistic trade target. Would I part with a first-round pick and another premium asset if you can make the money work? Like maybe, just because getting rid of the final 3 years of Jack Campbell is probably worth a first-round pick and another asset, right? So I don't know. I don't think Binnington's realistic. I understand why he's popping up, but a name that I had floated out on my show earlier today was like Mackenzie Blackwood. Like if you're going to line up and give up a bunch of future assets to get out from the Campbell deal, San Jose is more likely to want to do it than St. Louis. And two, go get a guy who's cheap, who you're going to bring in. He's young, even with, still a little bit of upside, I'd like to think, with Blackwood. Go get a guy like that and actually save the money. Don't bring on another high-paid goalie who's been inconsistent for the last 12 to 18 months.
Yeah, I'd be very curious where the Sharks come out. Capo Kakinen can't play. That's just a fact. I'm sorry. Anybody who tries to tell me he can, I don't buy it. So Mackenzie Blackwood, a few years ago in New Jersey, man, like a lot of people thought this guy, geez, the way he's played, he's going to be one of Team Canada's 3 goalies, right? And then, got banged up and hasn't really been the same. And now he had a banner night last night against Philadelphia. No question. He was excellent. It's the reason they won the first game of the year. But his numbers, other than that, not great. So goaltenders are weird, man. We all know it, right? Like now, San Jose, I'll be honest, I don't care who's playing in goal in San Jose. I don't think any goalie could have a 900 save percentage there. regularly because they just give up too much, and they don't spend enough time in the offensive zone, so they're always playing defense, and eventually that's going to come back to haunt you. So I think it would be difficult. It's hard to judge, but I agree with you from a cap perspective. It makes way more sense, right? He's only got this year and next year at 2.35. So what would it cost? Like, would you give up a first for obviously we assume Campbell's involved in the trade. So would you give up a first to do it?
Yeah, I think I would. And the other interesting part of this is, like, I know you've talked about the Sharks quite a bit, and I know even just us having conversations personally, like, that rebuild is not going very well in San Jose. And the thing is, they've now subtracted some big pieces, Burns and Carlson, and not gotten a lot in terms of future assets for them. And now they have those 2 retained salary spots that are all jammed up. So if they wanted to try get value for a guy like Logan Couture and they retain on him, then they're full for retained transaction spots. I actually think the Sharks would probably be wise to start doing a little bit of the, let's take on some bad contracts if teams are going to give us high picks and good prospects to do so. And maybe this is an opportunity for Mike Grier to finally add another first-round pick to the stable, because all they have is a conditional one from Pittsburgh and then their own. It's not like they've torn it down and they have 6 first-rounders in the next 3 years or anything like that, you know?
No, dude. And, they've missed the playoffs for 4 years, and they don't really have any top-end prospects coming. Like, maybe Eklund, and I'm not sure he's top-end. He might be an NHL player, but after that, it's pretty thin in that organization. Last night, Jonathan Huberdeau spent the entire third period on the bench in Calgary. Ryan Huska comes in, the rookie head coach. And we've seen lots of coaches, veterans, rookies around the league say, okay, you know what? I'm not getting enough from guys. And it's not that you hate the player. I think sometimes people think benching means, oh, he can't stand the player. Just like, you know what? Maybe that's the way to get their attention, right? Like, obviously it's not to his standard. And when you see that, are you surprised it hasn't happened in Edmonton when they collectively, like, there's a lot of candidates, and I'm not talking about the fourth line guys and the number 6 defenseman, right? I'm talking top 6 forwards, top 9 forwards, top 4 defensemen. There's been some options for sure to do it. Why do you think Woodcroft hasn't?
Yeah, first off, just on Huberdeau quickly, because I know for the people watching on YouTube, we had his numbers flashed up there. Like, he's only hit the 20-minute mark, Greg's, twice in his last 10 games. That's at all strengths. Like, this Husk after the game was like, oh, it's just a bad game. And I'm like, well, it's the second time in 5 games you've played him under 15 minutes. So I think it might be more than just one bad game there for Huberdeau. But as for why it hasn't happened in Edmonton, like, I think a part of it is just because of the situations the Oilers are in, right? I know the Preds were down by 1, the Flames were down by 1 heading into the third when they sat Huberdeau, but he's also not Leon Draisaitl or whatever, right? And I know some people pointed out last year, remember, the Bolts, they had a game against Columbus where they sat all 3 of their big guns for the third period, but they were getting caved in that game. They weren't coming back. When it comes to Jay Woodcroft and the Oilers, like, does Evan Bouchard deserve to sit on the bench for an entire period? Probably. But when you're down by 2 goals in the third, what defenseman gives you the best chance of hammering a puck into the back of the other team's net and coming back in the game? It's Bouchard, and Jay Woodcroft is kind of coaching for his life here. So can he afford to sit there and go, yep, Bouchard's sitting for the entire third because I'm going to send a message, when at the same time, there's probably a thought in the back of his head that, like, oh, damn, if we don't win this game, I might not have a job tomorrow.
Yeah, to me, I wouldn't even have done it the third. I just would have sat him for the rest of the second period. We're talking 4 shifts, right? Like, it's 4-2. And I think at that point, it sends a message, not just to Bouchard, but to your entire team, right? Because everybody on the ice knows, everybody on your bench knows who are the regular guys and who plays, right? And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, Nurse Cece, and then he's calling whatever he calls, what does he call him? The octopus? I can't remember. The Aquaman? I can't remember what he calls
the Seaweed Man.
The Seaweed Man, that's what it is. Yeah, so Seaweed and Kulak, you're up next, right? And then it's like Ekholm and Cece, and all of a sudden, people are like, all right, and Bouchard's sitting there because when you're injured, you don't just sit on the bench, right? Like, you don't even have to say anything as a coach when that happens. You just, in the course of a game, Stridy talked about it. Most coaches, they don't say anything. They just don't call your name. It's pretty obvious what the message is. And I do think, because Jay, the reason I'm surprised it hasn't happened, Tyler, is because if there's 3 words we've heard the most from Jay Woodcroft since start of preseason, the standard, the standard. Like we've heard it all the time. Well, how low is your standard if that's continually acceptable?
Yeah, and part of it maybe is a lack of other options, but I do agree. Like at some point, you need to take a stand here. I just again think it's more complicated when Woodcroft to a point seems like he's coaching for his life right now. Like, do you agree with the sentiment that the team should just tell him either he's sticking around for the whole year or he's done? Like, do you think that's hindering him at all?
You mean the coach? No,
Yeah,
I don't think you would ever. I don't think as a GM after 11 games, I can say I'm going to walk in and say I guarantee you're staying here for 82 games, right? Like that. It's probably unfair because that's a pretty big guarantee that you don't know what could happen. And yeah. So A, I don't think that would happen, and B, I don't know if like to me Jay Woodcroft and was it Todd? Other coaches have said, man, I coach to win every game, how I think is the right decision, not because if you start coaching scared, like you play scared, then you're not having success, right? And so I don't like, to me, I know a lot of people said, oh, if he loses the game in Vancouver, they're out. And I was like, why? If it comes down to one game, to me, you have to know right now, either Jay Woodcroft is the guy, or he's not. Well, we'll give him one more game. So let's say he wins. Now, does he get 2 more games? What if they lose the next 2? So to me, it's usually like, it's not an easy decision to fire head coach, I wouldn't think. Right now, you lose to the San Jose Sharks, Tyler. Now, I guess thankfully, because the Sharks won to Philadelphia, maybe it eases it slightly, but they're still like, they've been outscored 55-14 here. Like they're getting outshot like almost every game by 15, right? Like it's a clear, I looked at Sport Logic's numbers, and ever since I've been receiving their data, I've never seen a team that and they have 13 categories offensively and 13 categories defensively. The Sharks are 32nd in 24 of the 26, right? Like I've never seen that, right? Like it's so like this team just isn't very good. And so you lose to them. I'll be very curious. Like, obviously, I don't want him to lose because I'm going to have the worst haircut of my life for 7 months. So I hope that never happens. But there's the curiosity in me, even though I would suffer greatly of looking and hating myself in the mirror. Part of me is like, what type of reaction would it involve? Declan, you're dead. What type of reaction would it involve if they lost that game?
I mean, it should be a pretty sizable one. Like if you can't buckle down as a team and just go, like the Sharks will win some games this year when they catch teams on off nights, or maybe a 3-4 or a team that's won 4 in a row and they're kicking their feet up and the Sharks outwork them. Blackwood steals one. Sure. If you're the Oilers and you can't just buckle down and beat the tar out of that team tomorrow, then I think all hope is lost for this season. Like if that's not a game where you can just go out there and say, Cape, we are miles better than them. If we work hard, we're going to coast to a victory tonight. If you can't go out and do that tomorrow, it's probably the end of things. Then you won't be able to beat anyone with any sort of consistency this year.
Tyler Yaremchuk joins us. Jack Campbell, do you think he can rediscover his mojo / game in the AHL?
I think he can find success in the American Hockey League. Do I think it will ever translate to success back at the NHL level? I don't. I think the issues with Campbell are a lot of them are, it's between the ears, Greg's. And look how well he played in the preseason, right? He comes out and is dynamite. That stat line was like, whatever he had, like a 960, 970 save percentage. It was insane. And then as soon as the real hockey started and there's pressure on him and he's in his own head, boom, he's done. And he loses everything that made him successful. So if I could give you a very specific prediction, I think he goes down for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And at some point we have the conversation going, Jack Campbell's got a 930 in his last 8 starts in Bakersfield. He's ready to come back up. And I think he's going to come back up and we're going to be doing the same song and dance again with him, where it's a good game and 3 bad games and then a decent game and 2 terrible games. I don't know if he has the ability to mentally power through an ounce of adversity at the NHL level.
Skinner or Pickard, who do you start tomorrow night?
Oh, it's such an interesting debate because if there's ever a game to give Pickard, it's the one against the team, like you said, is 32nd in 24 of 26 categories. Like that's a great spot, but also let's keep Stuart Skinner's confidence level in mind here. If there's ever a game where Stuart Skinner could play really well, put up a good stat line and get his confidence level up, it's probably against the San Jose Sharks. So I think I care more about Skinner's confidence than Pickard's, getting his feet wet and finally playing an NHL game. So I think I go Stu tomorrow.
Ty, great stuff, my man. It will be an interesting matchup in San Jose. And the other thing is the Edmonton Oilers, like their offense, we didn't really touch on it, but their offense needs to get going. A lot of their best guys need to get going. And if I get up 3-0 in that first period or 2, I don't even care if they get up 2-0 at some point. This is a game where I know that sometimes, you take your foot off the gas in third period and stuff. I wouldn't do it. Honestly, I'd be like, I'm really sorry, Coach Quinn, and I would send an apology afterwards, but my offensive guys have been in the tank. I need them to get going, and if that means we rack up the score, and even if my first unit power play, because the second unit power play is outscoring the first unit power play here over the last 7 games, right? So this is a game where I'm sorry, I am not doing the respectful thing if I'm the head coach. I'm playing to win, and I'm doing everything that's going to benefit my team long-term because I got too many guys not feeling confident offensively.
Yeah, I agree with you. You can send David Quinn and his staff an edible arrangement on Friday morning, but I'll be interested. Maybe Play Alberta can get us some odds on the Oilers to score 10 tomorrow against the Sharks, because I think that should be the expectation. Edmonton needs to just hammer them.
Oh, gosh, they do need something for sure. So all they don't need is Blackwood to goalie them. God, I don't need it. Selfish. It's not just about me at this point. So we'll see. Ty, have yourself a good one.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
That's Tyler Yaremchuk. Of course, you can see him all over the place at OilersNation.com. It's the Oil Report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Coming up, Who Is It Wednesday? We gave you the hint. No one's got it yet. I always like it. A few weeks you got it. So here's the hints. We'll give you a thought again. So won an NHL Player Award, 20-goal scorer, is a member of 7 different NHL organizations, a Stanley Cup winner, and a top 25 in playoff scoring at his position. Who is it? Find out next. After Connor Halley, Sports 1440 Update brought to you by BIE Engineering, specializing in all your residential, commercial, and industrial structural engineering needs. Go to BIEENG.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers goaltender Jack Campbell has cleared waivers and been assigned to the AHL's Bakersfield Condors in a corresponding move. Callum Pickard has been recalled. Pickard has a record of 2-2 this year with a save percentage of .903. Just 3 games in the NHL tonight. The Sens in Toronto. Panthers up against Washington, and the Kings travel to Sin City. The Minnesota Wild are trading defenseman Kalen Addison to the San Jose Sharks for winger Adam Raska and a 5th-round pick in 2026 from the NFL. The New York Giants will start undrafted rookie quarterback Tommy DeVito this Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. And in the majors, free agent third baseman Matt Chapman met with several teams at the GM meetings this week, including the Toronto Blue Jays, who he spent the last 2 seasons with. 14 games in the association tonight, including the Raptors in Dallas taking on the Mavericks. That one will get going at 6:30. And in the AJ, you've got Sherwood Park hosting Olds. That one will get going at 7. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear another edition of Who Is It Wednesday. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
There's 2 seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you, those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see the barricades and run into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
Edmonton's premium live music and party venue is
On the Rocks.
Check out Bingo Tunes on Monday. Perform on the best stage in town with karaoke on Wednesdays. Learn how to salsa with Salsa Rocks on Thursdays. And every weekend, OTR goes live.
With your favorite bands on the OTR stage and DJ Kenny K.
For everything that's going on at On the Rocks, give us a follow.
Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
At On the Rocks, EDM.
Eat well, party hard.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Open every day till 2 a.m.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, We're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971. Saving you more.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada with sports and entertainment properties including the Alberta Junior Hockey League Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, and the Hockey Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. A new state-of-the-art entertainment center is set to open in Nisku, which will feature 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and restaurant with a viewing area. Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. Are you one of those people out there looking for something different to heat and cool your home? Weiss Johnson is Edmonton's cold climate heat pump specialist and would love to explain to you how Trane heat pumps are a reliable, cost-effective alternative for your home's heating and cooling needs. Order your Trane heat pump now and take advantage of the generous government rebates that are available. Trane, it's hard to stop a Trane. Call the most experienced HVAC company around with over 45 years in business. Visit wjcools.com today.
What does 3 decades of perfecting your craft look like? Ask the guys at Leduc Goldsmiths, locally run and bringing you nothing but quality work and service. Built from the ground up through family, from generation to generation, uncle to nephew, father to son. The pride in their family jewelry store is the pride you take home, bringing you custom and repair work. But it's their face-to-face service that keeps you coming back. Leduc Goldsmiths on Main Street, Leduc. Leduc's jewelry store, family owned and operated for over 30 years.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310-GLASS or book now at crystalglass.ca.
He's Alberta's sports authority and lead touchdown winner of his family's backyard flag football games. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by playalberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
I woke up in a Soho doorway, a policeman knew my name. He said, you can't go sleep at home tonight if you can get up and walk away. I staggered back to the underground.
Welcome back. Wednesday afternoon on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. The Gregor Show is always presented by playalberta.ca, where you can get in Lotto 649, baby. If you're feeling lucky, today's the day to do it. 32 million in the gold ball jackpot, and of course 1 million guaranteed. Check it out at playalberta.ca. Of course, coming to you live from the Ewell studio, ewel.ca, for all your electrical needs. I'm Jason Gregor. He's Connor Halley, and it is Who Is It Wednesday. Every Wednesday, we like to bring in a big name, somebody, lots of different elements, and sometimes we bring in players, sometimes we bring in coaches, trainers, just anybody kind of associated, broadcasters with the sports world. And today's guest is a Stanley Cup winner. He won an NHL Player Award. Was a 20-goal scorer, top 25 in playoff scoring at his position, a member of 7 different NHL organizations, in fact, is a 5-time Stanley Cup winner, and recent inductee into the Oilers Hall of Fame. we welcome in Charlie Huddy. Charlie, how are you?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Hey, thanks for coming in, man. It's been a whirlwind for you here. Now you've had some time to kind of maybe sit back, kind of take me through the whole Hall of Fame experience for you.
Yeah, you know what, it was quite an experience and obviously a great honor. I mean, when I got the call from Kevin Lowe, it was a pretty special phone call to be knowing that, you know, my name was going to go up there with all those greats that are in the Hall of Fame and
you
know, teammates that I played with. So it was a pretty special moment. So and then after that, like you said, it was kind of a whirlwind after that, but it was a great night. My family was my son and his family came up from Minnesota, and then my daughter lives in town, so she was able to be there. My mother-in-law came in, and you know what, it was just a real special night. You know, first class again by the Oilers as always when they put things on, and treated 100%, and just really enjoyed the evening. It was fantastic, and like I said, a great honor.
Your 5 grandkids were all in attendance, ranging in age. I think it's like 7 to 17, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
It's got to be a pretty cool grandpa moment when the grandkids are around. It's like, geez, grandma's pretty good here.
Yeah, no, you know what? It was pretty special. It really was. I think they kind of got updated on my career and stuff like that, you know, and you know, and had some knowledge behind it. My son's played a little bit of hockey in the East Coast League and over in Europe and stuff like that. So they kind of had a pretty good idea. But you know what, for them to be there and see my name go up there was special for me that they were there, and special, I think, for them to, you know, that they had a chance to be there when this all happened. And, you know, like you say, 10 years down the road, they'll be able to look at it as a pretty special night.
Yeah, and your daughter and grandkids live in Fort, so you know, they'll be anytime they go to the rink, there's Grandpa up there. That's pretty good, and Dad, that's pretty cool, man. It never goes away. So that's what's awesome about being in any Hall of Fame. So here in Who Is It Wednesday, we like to kind of go into the career. A lot of people know about Charlie Huddy, the 5-time Stanley Cup champ, and we'll get into some of those stories a little bit later on. But I kind of want to go back, an Ontario guy from Oshawa, like most kids born in the late 50s, early 60s, you know, you're playing on outdoor rinks. I think probably your first organized games might have been outdoor hockey.
Yeah, they were, for sure. I mean, you know, we played a lot of outdoor hockey. I remember, you know, at the public school that I went to, there was rinks there. So you get out of school, race home, get your stuff. And it was like a 5-minute walk back to the rink to the school. So get all your stuff and go back there and play till it got dark, and came home for dinner. And if you got lucky, you were able to go back for another hour maybe after if things were going good. But you know what? You never forget those times of playing on the outdoor rinks and, you know, the fun that you had as a kid.
So when were you always a defenseman? Did you play forward as a kid?
Yeah, I think I started when I was six or seven. I know I started playing forward. I was playing center or whatever. I can't remember exactly, wing maybe. You know what? And then as I kept moving up into Pee Wee, I remember changing back to defense for whatever reason, and just kind of kept going from there.
So at what point, like when you go to junior, you're playing for, like, you got to play in your hometown and for junior, how that play out? Like, was there a draft where you protected? How did it work back then?
Yeah, I think there was a draft back then. I'm not like, that's a long time ago. You know what? I was playing, it was a draft. I was playing Markham in Markham for the Markham Waxers Junior B, and then their Tier 2 team, their A team there. And I got drafted out of there, and then moved into Oshawa from there for the couple of years that I was in Oshawa.
So when you get to Oshawa, were you thinking NHL? Is that when you thought it was realistic? Maybe,
you know what? I think you always do, right? Like, if you get that far, you think that the next step is hopefully a chance to get into the NHL. And I kind of thought that. I mean, you never really know what's going to happen as you go through your career. You go through junior, you just, you know, you take it day by day and see where it leads you. And I mean, it was fortunate and unfortunate that I didn't get drafted, but the draft back then wasn't as big as it was now. It was like a sit at your house and it was a phone call and tell you, yeah, you got drafted or whatever, you know, wherever the case may be. But at the end of the day, it worked out pretty well that I didn't get drafted.
Charlie Huddy joins us. And that was going to, because, when you look at how things play out sometimes. So had you been drafted, like you weren't projected to be a first rounder, but you had 58 points in 64 games, like, almost a point a game defenseman, 20 goals in 64 games as a D-man. Obviously, you had some good offensive chops and good defensemen, but you didn't get drafted. And then you kind of had your pick, I guess, at that point. Was Edmonton the only team? Was there other options? Kind of take us through there. What happened after that?
There was a couple of teams, and like you said, it ended up not getting drafted, ended up working out way better. And I did have some Edmonton obviously was one, and then Philadelphia is the other one.
Okay.
And Calgary at that time was the other team. So I had some options and chose Edmonton for no particular reason. We kind of, with my agent, we looked at the roster, and there was some guys that had been playing for quite a while, and there was a chance that they might be finishing out in a few years. And I knew I had to probably go to the minors and figure out my game down there, like most guys, and go from there. So we ended up making the right choice. And just like I said before, Edmonton was the only team that offered me a $5,000 signing bonus. So that was a big thing for a 20-year-old kid, right?
Oh, yeah.
The other teams didn't. So that was,
back then, Slash was just throwing the money around. How quickly that changed. Eh?
Yeah, I hear you. So that was kind of, but no, you know what? It was obviously the right choice, and it worked out.
So you take you sign with the Oilers, but you played. Did you sign after the year in Houston, or when you signed with the Oilers, did they send you to Houston?
Yeah, no, I signed with the Oilers.
Okay.
They sent me to Houston in the Central Hockey League. Yeah, so I was signed going down there.
Okay, so now you come into your first camp in 79-80. That's the first year of the Oilers, and Gretzky. So you were in camp for not a very long time. Do you remember your first impression of young Wayne Gretzky that year?
Yeah, you could tell he was the player that he was. I mean, he was heads above everybody else, just the way he carried himself on the ice, and the way he went through, the practices. I mean, back then it was 2 a days. We were out in the morning, and then you'd go home and lay down because you were half dead, and then you'd get back and go back to the rink and have to go back out onto the ice again for another hour and a half. But yeah, you could. I mean, you knew there was something special there, and that he was going to be the kind of player that he turned out to be.
Oh, Charlie Huddy joins us. So, your 79 games, your first year in Houston with the Apollos. Great name, by the way.
Yeah.
And massive city. You had Al Rollins was your head coach. What do you remember of Al Rollins as a head coach?
You know what? It was it was funny because when I got to go to the rink that we were going to play, it was the old Sam Houston Coliseum, and it was kind of made for rodeos and stuff like that. But
yeah,
the bench had no glass behind it, and it had a short back on it. Like you could if you leaned way back, you'd go into the seats behind you. So they ended up roping off like the two rows of seats right behind the bench, and there was nowhere for Al to stand. Like he had no seat. Or I mean, nowhere to go. Like he couldn't stand in front of the players, like some, but there was no area behind to stand. So we get to the first, I think it was the exhibition game, and we're kind of going like, what's going to happen here? So, anyways, he had a seat at the end of the bench, and believe this or not, there was 2 speakers. There was one speaker down at the one end of the bench, and then another round speaker down at the other end of the bench, and he actually had a microphone. And he would call who was going to be up.
Get out!
I swear to God. And it was like it was the craziest thing ever. And he'd be like on there, and then it'd be like guys would be angry or whatever, and they'd be squirting water in the speaker, hoping it was going to shut down. And but it was, man, it was crazy. Like you think you've seen everything, right? And then you get there, and then you see this. But you know what? Great guy. He was he was a good coach. I think he was an old goaltender.
Yeah.
But he was he was good. I mean, he understood the game, and I think wasn't a lot of video obviously back then. If there was any, I don't think I ever remember watching video with him. But just the understanding of the game, and getting the guys in the right position, and working on certain things in practice. So he was he was a good coach from back then.
But did you even have an assistant coach?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
We
Like-
don't. It was
like,
just him.
As somebody who's coached now, like imagine
Yeah.
that. Like this is 79, 80. It's not like we're talking 100
No,
years
yeah.
ago, right?
No,
And you
yeah.
had one head coach. So he's like, think about now you have their defense runs the defense for like obviously the players got to be aware.
Yeah.
But you're trying to run everything. I just visualized him at the end of the
Oh,
bench
yeah.
with the speaker, which is hilarious because I guess it makes sense for the defenseman on the other end to hear it. But it is funny how quickly the game has changed that used to just have head coaches with no assistants.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's, I mean, I think the way the game is like right now, I think it'd be almost impossible for one guy to run a whole bench. I mean,
Yeah.
it would be, there's some guys that maybe could do it, but it'd be a tall task to be able to manage the forwards and manage the D, getting the certain matchups that you want, watching the system, watching the games that's going on, because man, that game is, when you're standing behind that bench, that game's going really fast and you're trying to pick things off to make corrections and stuff like that. But yeah, it'd be a tall task, but there was a lot of them back then. I know when I was in Wichita, there was just one head coach there, and you were lucky if you had two trainers most of the time,
Well, the Wichita win in your second season, you had 44 points in 47 games. Like you mentioned, how I got to go to the American League to figure out my game. You played your full season. Then you kind of had two half seasons in Wichita. But that second year, what kind of clicked for you?
You know what? I think the coach that I had down there, John Muckler, really,
okay.
He was, we became really good friends, and I treasured everything that he helped me with. Like he was he was hard down there. Like he skated us every day. Like it was, and he goes, hey, you know what? If you guys, this is what it's going to take to get to the NHL. Like nobody's getting called up from here and not going to be able to
skate.
To be able to skate or to be not in good enough shape to play in the NHL. If you leave from here and get called up, you're going to be good to play up there. And the system part of it that's on you, but the conditioning part is going to is on me to make sure that you guys are in shape. And he did do that, and just this, he's a smart man. He's a real smart hockey man, and he taught us a lot down there. And you know what? You took in as much as you wanted, right? Like if you thought you had a chance that you were going to get to the NHL, you would absorb everything that he was telling you to make you a better player, to help you get to the next level. And if you didn't, you just kind of went through the motions down there. But yeah, so I was fortunate to have him down there to really help me out a lot.
Charlie Huddy joins us here on Who Is It Wednesday, of course, in the Edmonton Oilers Hall of Fame, 5-time Stanley Cup winner, played over 1,000 NHL games, also top 25 in playoff scoring for NHL defensemen all time. So we'll return and we'll talk about the journey to the National Hockey League and through it, and then all of a sudden trying to be the Reg Dunlop in his final year of pro hockey, that and more when we return on Sports 1440. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
When you hand deliver a hamper to a family in need, everyone's heart fills with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper Program, a charitable experience unlike anything in Edmonton. Sign up to adopt a local family, fill a hamper with food and gifts, then bring it to their door and see the difference you're making firsthand. With the rising cost of living impacting so many families, the need has never been greater. Sign up for the Holiday Hamper Program today at holidayhamper.ca.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready Sales Event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh, fine print.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
At The Brick, we're not just proud of this city and its rich sports history. We're proud partners of it. The Brick started right here in Edmonton over 50 years ago. And when we're not cheering on the Oilers and Oil Kings live at the game, or the Edmonton Elks under the bright stadium lights, we're in our stores, providing everything you need to cheer them on in your home. The Brick, supporting Edmonton sports teams and fans since 1971, saving you more.
Get your vehicle ready for winter with Jiffy Lube. Drive-in, drive-out service with 25 extra air miles with your Shell Go Plus app. Be wise, winterize. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzling pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be a skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
Trevor is lonely.
Yeah.
So Trevor threw a big party and served salad.
Nobody came.
Mike is also lonely.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
So Mike threw a big party and served Will Hawk beef jerky.
Go Will Hawk! Go Will Hawk! Everybody came!
Will Hawk beef jerky. Because you don't win friends with salad.
Will Hawk is the home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
In Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
There's nothing like having a little skin in the game to make things interesting. But when a little skin becomes more than you can afford to lose, it's time to take a break from sports betting. Set a budget and stick to it. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Imagine being the difference in a young person's life. At Big Brothers Big Sisters, we create life-changing friendships. Visit bigbrothersbigsisters.ca today to donate or volunteer. Your involvement can shape a future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by eWell. From LED lighting audits and retrofits to design build distribution systems, eWell services can help give you the edge you need to impress your clients. ewel.ca.
Sports radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
3:26. We return. Who is it? Wednesday. Our guest, 5-time Stanley Cup champion, recently in the Edmonton Oilers Hall of Fame, where he will be there forever. Of course, played over 1,000 NHL games. He's 23rd all-time defenseman scoring in the playoffs. And as we learned, as a rookie, his first year in pro, his coach would sit on the end of the bench in a chair with a microphone because there was no bench for the coach to stand on to call out line changes. Oh, it's a different time. It was a different time, Charlie. I love that story. So here you are. You know, you played in Houston, then you're at the Wichita Wind, and it's your second year, second pro season. And early on that year, you kind of went up and down a little bit. But tell me where you were, because I know where your first game was, and I'm sure you remember. Like, you're an Ontario kid, and you get the call, and you're like, hey, you're coming to the NHL, which is pretty thrilling. But you're also going to make your NHL debut in Toronto against the Maple Leafs. Tell me how the call, who told you were coming up, and how did that go?
Yeah, you know what? Muck called me. I remember because we were on the road. This was in the Central League, so we were in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And I got the call, and like I don't know if it was a 1 game or a 2 game, but back then you didn't travel with a lot of stuff, right? So like I had a little duffel bag with a couple of shirts in it and stuff like that. Had no overcoat or anything because you're on the bus pretty much the whole time. So I got called up, and he says, you're going to Toronto and they're playing tomorrow. And I'm like, oh my God, am I playing? And he says, yeah, you're going to be playing. I was like, oh man. Anyways, like you said, so I had family and stuff there, and it was just, you know what, it was a long flight. It was nerve wracking because I was thinking, how's this all going to go? It's my first game. I'm in Toronto and Maple Leaf Gardens and the whole thing. I was a kid watching the Leafs play in Maple Leaf Gardens, and now I'm going to be on that ice and the whole 9 yards. And I was just, you know what, I was terrified. I really was. Like, it was a big challenge for me, but, you know what they get what I remember, the game went good. I think the one thing about Slats is that when he called you up, he would like play you.
Yeah.
You know, like you wouldn't sit there and play one shift and then sit for 5 minutes and then he'd throw you back out there randomly. And then, you know what I mean? Like he gave you an opportunity to stick around. If you went out and you played good, then you kept playing, and then you'd play the next game and you'd play the next game, and you'd get the ice time that was rewarded on how your game was going that night. So, you know, that helps as a kid coming up, and then you've got some great players obviously in front of you and lots of encouragement from those guys. You know, you're in your first NHL game. So, I mean, it's easier to get in the groove when you're playing all the time, and rather than getting 1 or 2 shifts a period, you know, it makes it tough.
Oh, for sure. So you pick up an apple in your first game. That's in Toronto. The next night, so you're going back to back.
Back to back, yeah.
You're going to the Chicago Stadium, one of the greatest buildings ever. And Charlie Huddy scores his first NHL goal in only his second NHL game. Who was it on? What do you remember?
Slap shot from the blue line. I don't know why I was playing the left side for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it doesn't really matter. Slap shot 5-hole on Tony Esposito.
Tony Esposito.
Yeah, unreal, eh?
So can you explain that moment? Here you are now, and you score your first NHL goal, and you're just like, oh my God.
You know what? I can't explain it. I really can't. Like it was, I mean, I don't know. Like it was you go back to it, you know, I grew up watching those guys. Like I watched Tony O. It's not like I didn't know who he was. Like when you're watching hockey, like Tony Esposito is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And then here I am in Chicago Stadium playing, and it comes back to me, and I put it through the 5-hole on him. And it was just like, you know what? It was a great moment. I mean, you know, you kind of try to take it all in, but you don't really take it all in, you know, and stuff like that. But you get back to the bench, everybody's, you know, cheering you on and the whole 9 yards, but it was quite a thrill.
Who assisted it? Do you remember?
I got no idea.
No idea. Okay. I'll have to look that. But then you scored your first home game. So here's Charlie Huddy comes up, assists his first NHL game, a goal his second NHL game. Then your third NHL game's at home against the Canucks, and you score again. Are you thinking, geez, this league's pretty easy?
Yeah, this isn't, sometimes you get lucky, right? Yeah, no. You know what? It's just, I don't even like you just get in the groove, right? You're so excited to be there. You've worked, you know, I was fortunate. I didn't have to spend 4 or 5 years in the minors, you know, and I was a full year, and then like you said, up and down, and so, you know, it's been a couple years, so you want to really try to take it all in and try to enjoy the moment, and you want to stick around. I mean, you've worked hard, your parents worked hard driving you all over the city to play games and spend a lot of time driving you, and you want to make the most of it, right? You're there. So the biggest thing is that you don't want to leave, because if you leave, you don't know if you're going to get back up.
Yeah.
Because if you don't get called up, somebody else might get called up. They play way better than you did. You could be stuck down there for who knows how long, right? So it's you got to take the most of your opportunity, and I tried to do that, and you know, things worked out okay.
So you played basically a month, right? You were there February, and then it looks December 10th, and then did you go back down and then get recalled for one game in February? Is that what happened?
I think so. Yeah, I went back down, and I remember I can't remember the exact, but I remember being down in Wichita, and Mike Forbes was up playing with Edmonton. He was a right-handed shot, and he was up there. I think and he was playing because he had been there for, man, I don't know, I want to say for a couple of weeks. And then he was still up there, and John Muckler called me and he said, hey, you're going to, you're going back to Edmonton. And I'm like, well, I thought Mike Forbesy's up there. And he goes, no, he's on his way back down, because they'd played the night before. And I guess in that morning, I guess they had sent Mike Forbes back, because guys were coming back, and somebody else got hurt in that game. And they sent Forbesy down, and then they said, well, we need another defenseman. We can't bring him back. So then I ended up going back up. And, you know, so crazy how things happen, right? Like he was playing good there, and one of the veterans came back and got sent down, and then somebody got hurt, and away I went.
Yeah. And so you got into, you know, you look at your numbers, you got into 12 games that year. Then the next season, you start in Wichita, then you get the recall, and then you really don't go back, right? It's 81 games.
Yeah.
And that second year, so that's 81, 82. You know, the Oilers were pretty good that year, right? That was unfortunate, the miracle on Manchester in the postseason, but they were starting to, you know, Gretzky was elite already. And then, you know, you had Messier and, you know, guy that you know pretty well in Paul Coffey. And so when you came in that year, Charlie, in 81, 82, and you solidified yourself, and now you're here, you played 41 games, I'm sticking around, and, then obviously into the playoffs. What did you have to do to say, okay, now I know I belong, I'm comfortable? Was there ever a conversation with Slats and what he said, hey, you do this and you're sticking? Or is it just like, you're doing this, so you're going to stick?
Yeah, you know what? Slats really never had a lot of conversation. Like nowadays in the NHL, coaches have a lot of communication with the players, and they update, like they talk way more to the players than they do. Back then, Slats didn't really, he talked to you, yeah, but like on a friendly basis, like, hey, how's it going? Whatever. Okay. But it never really brought you in and said, hey, you know what? Things are going good. This is what you're doing good. This is, keep doing it. You'll stick around or whatever. Like there was never any of that. It was just go out and play. And like I said before, you go out and you play. If you're playing good, you'll keep playing, and then he'll give you a chance. And then you just kind of move forward from there.
So Paul, of course, told the joke at your Hall of Fame ceremony at the first game. He's like, hey, Charlie, you go in this corner, and then I'll stay in front of the net. And then if the puck goes the other corner, you go there too, because they'll show you that you're working hard. Was he joking, or was that real?
No, you know what? He was serious. He might have been joking inside, but he was serious to me. He thought, hey, if this works out good, this is going to be great, because I'm going to have all this energy when that puck gets turned over. I'll have lots of energy to go the other way. But yeah, I might have did it a couple of shifts, and then you realize that that's not the right way to play the game. Exactly. It's just for but yeah, no, it was. Hey, I was pretty fortunate to have him as a partner.
What works so well between the two of you?
You know what? I think for whatever reason, just the chemistry that we had. But you know what? Like back then, he was my roommate, so you spend a lot of time. And it's not like you're talking hockey 24 hours a day, but you know what? You're spending time with each other. You're talking about the game. You're talking about the game before, the game that's coming up, and things that we can do better out on the ice. And you're practicing together all the time. And I'd have him over to the house for dinner and stuff like that, and we'd come and hang out. And I think the off ice part of it really helped out a lot. Sounds crazy, but you create a chemistry away from the rink, and you take it back into the rink when you go in there every day. And I think that's why it works so good. And you know what? Koff was a pretty easygoing guy. Like we had a lot of fun out there. Like when it was going to be serious, we were serious. And when there was a chance to joke around a little bit, we would joke around a little bit, because you go through that season, and if you can't have any fun playing that game, it's a tough, long, hard year to go through. So there's got to be a few laughs here and there, right, on the bench. Like he always tells it. Koff loves that story about when Lee Fogland was trying to get out the door, right, and Fogey was like, he was wired like you can't imagine, and and Koff grabbed the end of his jersey and just held him so he couldn't get out the door. And Fogey thought he was caught on the hatch or whatever, on the latch, and he was just losing. Koff was holding it, and then he saw Koff holding it. And I thought Fogey was going to hit him over the head with his stick, but stuff like that would happen, right? That would keep things light, and it would make the game way more fun, like it really did. Little things like that.
Oh, that makes sense. Charlie Huddy joins us here on Who Is It Wednesday. And Paul, even like he used to throw purposely, if you guys were up 3 or 4 goals, he would just throw purpose passes right into your skates. Did you ever do it back to him?
Yeah, no, I tried to return the favor a few times here and there, but yeah, he, for whatever reason, he loved doing that. Like he had just fired over. You know what? It started in practice though, because when we were in practice, he'd go out there, he'd have no tape on his stick, and he'd go out there and he'd be like, and guys, I know Gretz used to always yell at him, Koff, put tape on your, because he's shooting from the blue line, and the thing could go anywhere, right? No tape on your stick. Like that thing could, anyway. So Gretz would always be yelling at him, and then so that's when he started. Like we'd be doing drills, and he'd have no tape on his stick, and he'd fire it across, and that thing would go haywire, and it'd end up in my feet, and I'm trying to get it out, and Slats is yelling at me to handle the pass, and Koff's over on the other side laughing, and because I'm playing my offside, and I'm trying to handle it, and it was just, but you know what? It was fun. That's what, practice is supposed to be fun. You go out there, you work hard, have a few laughs, and Slats was great at that. Like, as long as you were working hard and doing what you're supposed to do, you wanted us to go out there and have a few laughs and do what we needed to do to be successful.
So you played your offside. There's not a lot of defensemen who excel playing their offside. Why were you so good playing the right side as a left shot?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. I just for whatever reason I fell into it, and it just kind of all came together.
So did you play that
It
way like in
was-
junior too?
I did play a little bit in
Okay.
junior on my offside. Yeah, yes, I did. And you know what? It just there's a lot of good to it. There really is. It's there's when guys are coming down 3-on-2 on you, you can get your stick out, you can force them out wide, you can push them wide, and things like that. The only thing is when you're going behind the net, things are a little bit different. But I remember when I went to LA and they said, "Well, you're going to play the left side," and I was like, "Oh man, this is going to be tough." And it was tough for like 5 games. Like I was bad because I couldn't. I've been turning one way my whole career, right? And now I got to get there.
You're like
and
Zoolander, you couldn't turn the
yeah,
other way.
right. Now I got to turn to the left and try to close out again. Like it was hard, and just the way you see the whole game, right? Like you see the game differently from one side to the other. But for whatever reason, I just it just worked over there. And like I said before, you got Paul Coffey as your partner, so it's a pretty good deal. And if I wanted to play in the NHL, I'm gonna stay on that right side and make it work.
Charlie, of all the players from that team, I'm not sure I've asked them this question before. The miracle on Manchester, game 3, you're up 5-0, you lose 6-5 in overtime. What was said, first of all, after the third period where you blew the 5-0 lead between overtime, and then what was said after the loss?
Yeah, you know what? I think Slats was, he was upset, obviously, but he had an interesting way of handling things, right? Like he'd always come in with the right frame of mind. Like sometimes he'd yell at you, or he'd pick certain guys to yell at and try to get them going. But he was upset, obviously, to do what we did out there. But he came in and just said, "Hey, you know what? It is what it is. Here's where we're at. We got to go out and try to win this game in overtime. Now it's happened, so there's nothing we can do. It's in the past. Let's go." And obviously didn't work out, but he would handle things like that. And then when we lost in overtime, it was like, "Hey, you know what? Game's over. It's over and done with. We're moving on to the next one and put this one behind us." And you can't live on it because it was a tough loss, obviously.
Oh.
But anyways, he handled situations really well. That was one thing that I remember really well about Slots, is just the way he handled everything about different situations, about the way the game was going or the way the game wasn't going, or the way he handled individuals in between periods or after a game and things like that.
John Muckler, as a guy who became a coach later on, you talked about how Muckler was really good for you down in the minors. But then when you got called up, he essentially got called up too as an assistant coach, right? And he became an assistant coach in Edmonton. And people talk about how Slats was like the motivator. He was the main guy, but John was the tactician. What about John Muckler was so great tactically? Like, what did he bring?
You know what? I think he understood the game so well. Like he had been around for a long time. Like he was, he was not like he'd been around only for a few years. He was been around for a long time. The other thing is that, back then you had VHS tapes, right? And he was breaking games down on those, and it was a lot more difficult than it was. But I remember him putting hours and hours and hours in to get some clips for us to show. But he just saw the game so well. And then when he went and watched the opponent that we were going to be playing, more so in the playoffs, he just knew how to break them down. Just the way he saw the game, and he had a tactic for how they were forechecking or how they were forechecking in the neutral zone and things like that. And he picked up on it right away. And he always had a game plan. We'd go into a game and we knew what we were doing. And like I said, we didn't do a lot of video through the regular season, but when we got into the playoffs, we spent a lot of time on it.
Charlie Huddy, our guest today on Who Is It Wednesday. I'll take a quick break. We'll come back with more. Charlie, of course, is our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment, an innovative leader in the market, the leader across Western Canada, owning the Seattle Thunderbirds, the Spruce Grove Saints, the Hockey Prospects League, the Super Hockey League, Silent Rides, and more. That's Silent Ice.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything for the athlete and sports fan on your list, including United gift cards. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Andy Akel at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients, better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's. That's SPORTS20.
At Wolf GMC Buick, all Denali's are on sale. Terrain, Acadia, Sierra, Yukon, all Denali's are on sale. Get special 0% financing for 48 months on all remaining Sierra Denali half-tons because all Denali's are on sale. I'm not kidding. Every in-stock 2023 GMC Denali is on sale. All Denali's are on sale. Hurry into Wolf GMC Buick for the best selection. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy because all Denali's are on sale.
Saturday nights were made for WHL hockey at Rogers Place, starting at just $20 a seat.
This Saturday, the Battle of Alberta returns to Ice District, WHL style, as your Edmonton Oil Kings throw down with the Calgary Hitmen.
Catch junior hockey at its finest, plus every Oil Kings home game, score kids food combos for $10 or less.
The Battle of Alberta, WHL style. It's family fun that's second to none.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Calgary Hitmen, this Saturday at 7.
Great family entertainment at Rogers Place starts at just $20 a seat. Save on Dave game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
for furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We've continued developing tools and are excited to announce our newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at cantork.com.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
They get up every morning from the long clocks, wanting to take the 8:15 into the city. There's a whistle up above and people pushing, people shoving, and the girls who try to look pretty. And if your train's on time, you can get to work by 9 and start to sleep and jump.
We continue on, Sports 1440. Oilers Nation YouTube. It's the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And our guest, who is it Wednesday? Of course, 5-time Stanley Cup champion, recently inducted into the Edmonton Oilers Hall of Fame, Charlie Huddy. Joined us. And of course, Charlie, you have those 5 Stanley Cups in 7 years, which is unbelievable. We had Randy Gregg in studio a few weeks ago talking about it. And he was just like, you're so lucky, but obviously you have to work incredibly hard to win all that. And, you win the one without Wayne, which I think for guys, Craig Simpson talked about it. Like it meant something a little bit more, right? Just so people, hey, we're still good. And, obviously Wayne's a great player. I'm probably biased, but I think he's the greatest player ever. But the interesting thing for you is you have all that success in Edmonton like everybody else. And back then, Edmonton was, eventually now the money starts coming and everybody was slowly leaving, right? When you left in a different circumstance, because it was after the 91 season and you guys had still gone to the conference final, right? So it's still pretty good. Lots of the guys were still there, not all. And Slats told you're telling me during the break that he told you, hey, I'm going to expose you in the expansion draft, but you're not going to get taken. But I went and looked at the expansion draft. You're like the 4th or 5th pick taken.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what to say. That's all he told me. He just said, I'm not going to protect you. No, but nobody's going to take you. Don't worry. And then
did you have a contract still?
Bang, I was gone. I think I did. Yeah.
Okay. Weird.
Yeah. So I don't know they had to do what they had to do, right, to protect guys and not protect guys. And
yeah, and
he really thought nobody was going to take me. He thought it was, whatever reason I don't know if he had talked to guys to the GMs from there and whatever, but didn't work out that way.
Well, it was weird because Minnesota was in the expansion draft, even though they'd been in the league. Right. It was because they kind of split them and San Jose. And it was kind of odd.
Yeah. So
you get taken by Minnesota, but you never played there because then they traded you and Jim Thompson for Todd Elic to the LA Kings. So now that was in summer, right around close to the draft. So take me through that when you get the phone call. Now you're traded and you're just like, I'm going to LA. Well, I know Gretzky and I know McSorley. It's like that must have been like the ideal place for you to go.
Yeah, you know what? It really was. I mean, if there was somewhere I had to go, I guess that was the place to go. I mean, I was going to be familiar with guys, and you know what they were doing. I mean, Bruce McNall was bringing guys in there trying to win a Stanley Cup, and at all costs for him. And so you know what, for me, it was a good option, and you know what, I enjoyed my time there.
Well, you guys had a really good team, and of course, everybody remembers the 1993 Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
I know you remember all the ones you win. How tough was that one to lose?
Yeah, you know what? It was hard because I said that before, all the cups are different, right? Because Slats used to do a good job of bringing different guys, and so and it's funny to say, but when he brought different guys in and you win a cup, to be able to see guys that he brought in, see their faces when they win. So it was kind of like that when I went to LA, right? Dave Taylor was there, Luke Robitaille was there, some other guys, but they had played for 15, 60, whatever years they had been playing, and they had never been to the Stanley Cup finals. And when we beat Toronto to be able to go against Montreal, their faces and the way they handled it and getting that Campbell Conference Bowl and stuff like that was just, it was unreal. It really was, just to see how excited and what they got out of it. And then, so, you know what, to be able to go all that way and not be able to win it, and to be able to see how they would have handled it would have been really special. But you know what, it wasn't meant to be, and unfortunately it didn't happen.
Illegal stick penalties weren't really called that often.
No,
back then. What did you guys make of when they called Marty for that?
Well, you know what, you always think of the worst, right? You always think of one of the Montreal trainers getting in the room and measuring the sticks and going through them and going, hey, yeah, and relaying it to the coach. And then if you need it, you take a chance. And you got, you know what, sometimes, but that's not fair to say, but that's what you're thinking, right?
Okay.
But you know what, you got guys on the ice that are playing against Marty, and they'll look at the stick. Back then you could tell if it was, that the curve wasn't legal. You could tell. So I mean, part of that could have been the guys that they had on Montreal that had picked it off and saw that it was illegal.
And it's funny how, do you believe, having played in it, did the series change on that call? Or is that too easy to say?
Yeah, I think it did a little bit. It really got them fired up because of the call, and and got them going. But I think they had went through that whole playoff run with an enormous amount of overtime
Oh
wins.
my goodness. Yeah.
It was like,
10.
I can't, is that what it was? 10. Yeah, I know it was a big number, but yeah, you know what? Credit to Montreal. They played a good series. We just didn't have that extra to get over the top.
So you know what? You come in the NHL. Your first game, of course, was against the Toronto Maple Leafs back in November of 1980. And then you play your last NHL game with the Buffalo Sabres in 1996-97. But that same season, you became like Reg Dunlop. You went down to Rochester, and they wanted you to be a player coach. John Tortorella is your head coach in Rochester. But I look and I'm like, geez, like you're playing 63 games. Was that the plan, to play that many games as an assistant coach / player?
Yeah, no, I didn't sign up for that when I talked to John Muckler about going down there. Again, Muck was the GM in Buffalo, and he was great. I told him, my plans. I said, I'd like to try to get into coaching. I think I might enjoy it.
Okay.
And he goes, you know what? He goes, why don't you go down to Rochester? There's a good coach down there. John Tortorella's down there, and go down and learn from him, and, watch how he handles the team and does video and the whole runs practices and the whole 9 yards. And I said, you know what? That'd be great. Because if it's a start for me, then I can go down there and see if I like it. And the great thing is that me and Torts both lived in Buffalo. So we were driving, like an hour and 5 minutes to Rochester.
Okay.
So there'd be some days where he'd call me, and he, because down there it's a weekend, you're practicing pretty much all week. Right. So he'd call me some days and go, hey, I'm not coming in. I'm not going to go to practice today. You can go out there and run it yourself. And I'd be like, okay, well, is there anything? Yeah, no, I just, what we do in practice, go out there. And so I'd go out there and I'd have my gear on, and I'd run a few practices by myself with the guys. So that part was pretty cool. I got to,
okay.
I kept
how do your teammates, did they love it?
Yeah, no, they thought it was cool. Yeah.
Okay.
They liked it. And the practices were good. I didn't get any guys going, oh, this guy's he's going to run practice and stuff like that. I think they had enough respect for me from what I had done, and,
okay.
And then, so going back to the other part, the playing way too many games. Yeah. Cause it was like the second weekend into the season. And I remember back then they played 3-3. So it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I remember that I played the Friday and the Saturday, and I didn't want to play the Saturday. And then we get to the last game is in Philly against their farm team, and it's Sunday, and Torts goes, I need you to play today. And I go, Torts, I'm not playing. Like, it's 3-3. Like, use 4 defensemen. I don't know, but I don't want to play in this game. He goes, I need you to play. And then I was like, you know what? I can't let the team, like,
yeah.
Of course. So I ended up playing. So I played 3-3. And then I said to him, listen, you know what? I'm not playing this many games, but you know what? I was a good guy, and I ended up playing a lot of games. But it was, it was fun. I was
like, was the goal for you kind of to be the 7th defenseman who would slot in a few times?
No, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, that was kind of the plan. And then Torch said, you know what? If we're playing a tougher team or whatever, I'll put you in there so we can, I said, yeah, okay, whatever. But so that year, that last game that I played in the NHL was in New Jersey, and I was in Rochester. Right. And so, I think Torch called me, and he goes, Buffalo's calling you up. You got to go to New Jersey to play a game. He goes, I think it's just the one guy. I said, Torch, I don't want to go. I'm the only guy in the minors that's arguing to go play a game in the NHL. I'm like, I'm going, I don't need to go to like pick somebody else. I don't need to go to New Jersey to play one NHL game, and they're going to send me down the next day when the game's over. I said, I'm not, 22 years old. I don't need it. He goes, no, you got to go. I said, call him and tell him I don't want to come. So he goes, oh, okay, whatever. I don't know if he ever called or not. He's going back, and he goes, yeah, no, they're not. They're not taking that. You're going to New Jersey. So I ended up going to New Jersey and playing one game, and then got sent back down.
So that was your last, and you're like, hey, this is my last game. Did you take it all in? Did you do anything special that game?
You know what? I didn't know, because I think I was just angry that I had to actually go play.
I can't believe that.
Go play the game, and I just kind of, my career was done before that, right? So this was just kind of a
okay. That's fair. Yeah,
like
this
was kind of a throw-in game, and it's like anything. You kind of get a feel like, could I have snuck out a couple more years? Yeah, but then it, like, everything works for a reason, right? So the job in Rochester may not have been there. So who knows what I'm doing? Then I went to the East Coast for a year to coach down there, and then I went right to the Rangers. So the timing and everything, like like most things is perfect. And I ended up, going the path that I had, but I think a lot of it was just timing. If I had hung on for another year or two, maybe none of it happens in the coaching part of it.
Now, you had been an ECLJ head coach for 1 year in Huntington Blizzards. Then you went and you got the assistant job with the Rangers. You spent 23 years as an NHL assistant. Did you interview for head coaching jobs? Were you ever close to getting any?
You know what? I didn't, and I didn't really want one, to be honest with you. I enjoyed I didn't need the enormous amount of stress those guys have on them. I just wanted to go and be able to help young defensemen or whatever, and still stay in the game and enjoy it and have a few laughs and, take those young guys and take them out for a beer and talk about it. And so I never really did. I enjoyed doing what I was doing and being able to. I was fortunate the guys that I worked for, Mac T and then Paul Maurice, I ran the defense, so I didn't have to really they didn't come down. I'd put out who I want. We talked about before the game.
Okay.
So I kind of ran my own show back there, and I did what I did. And there'd be certain points, Mac T would come down and say, "Okay, I know I've seen enough of that guy for tonight. Don't play him anymore." And then we'd move on. But I was lucky that way. So I was kind of my own head coach down in my little end down there with my 6 defensemen. So I really enjoyed that. And I go, you know what? I don't have any need to try to move on.
Okay. But you didn't have a chair and a microphone though. That was the only thing that was missing.
Yeah, I didn't know you had.
Now, it was interesting what you said. Mac T would come down to you. How many did you have to, if you felt a D-man, okay, you know what? I've seen enough, or I just seen enough this period.
Yeah.
Did you have the open to make that call?
Yeah, no, you know what? I would usually, I'd maybe let the guy miss a couple of shifts.
Okay.
And then most of the time I'd go down to Mac T and say, hey, how are you seeing it? This is what I'm seeing. He'd go, yeah, good. Because at the end of the day, if you sit somebody for 2 periods or whatever, I'm not the guy that's answering the media, right? Mac T's the guy that's answering the media. If it wasn't that, I could go out and say, hey, you know what? I'm running the defense, and this is what I saw, and I didn't like his game tonight. You know what? Everybody has one of those games.
Fair.
But Mac T's the guy that's got to go out there and handle it. So he'd go, yeah, no, fine. I'm good with that. Or else there'd be some games where I'd be playing and I'd kind of feel the guy's maybe coming on. He's going to get going. And Mac T would come down and go, yeah, you know what? I've had enough of him for this period. We'll talk about it next period and see if we're going to put him out, whatever. And I'd go, hey, I know, fine. And then we'd move on from there.
Because it's an interesting one. And the reason I asked that question, obviously, Oilers fans are, there's certain levels where usually if a guy gets sat down, we saw Jonathan Huberdeau last night, right? Sat down the whole third period, right? And hey, your star player, obviously people are going to talk about it. And they talk about it 20 years ago. I don't think it would matter. But it doesn't mean you dislike the player. It's just like at some point, I'm sure you've had conversations. He's doing something that you've talked about many times, and it's still in his game. And that's kind of like the last resort to say, you know what, maybe this will get their attention if you miss 4 or 5 shifts, take away what they love, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah. I mean, that's part of it. And like I said before, the other part is that some games you get out there and it's just not working for you. And it's almost better. Like sometimes as a player, you go out there and the game's going sideways on you and you can't, you go out that next shift and you hope you're going to get it back, and it never really happens. But you just, it's almost kind of like relief sometimes that he's not putting me out there anymore because I can't get anything done.
Yeah.
And I'm hurting the team, and I'm whatever the case may be. And you know what? I'm going to start over tomorrow. I'm going to come to practice or whatever, and I'm going to get my game back, and then I'm going to move forward from there. But it's, everybody has them, right? I mean, there's people go to work and go, man, I don't have it today. I just kind of, it's just not there.
No one sees us when we have a bad day.
Nobody, not 25 reporters there writing a story about you the next day, or 17,000 fans screaming at you going, why is he still on the ice? So.
Now, last year you had the opportunity to coach your granddaughter's U18 hockey team for a little bit. How was that?
You know what? It was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure when I got to that first practice and I went out there and I was going like, oh man, this is going to be but you know what? It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. And it's like I left in January because they had gotten another coach. And I said to them before I left, I said, you know what? The great thing about this was I had a great experience out here. And I said, this is going to happen a lot. I'm going to call you guys. But I don't, you know what, because I've been anyway. So I just said, you girls, I'm so proud of you. Like from the day one, when I started coming to practice to when I'm leaving now in January, you guys improved so much. Like just their passing and their skating and just everything about it. You know what, they really got better. So you kind of feel good about it. When I spent 3 months with them and practicing and games and stuff like that, and they got better, and they ended up going like right to the end and lost before they got to the next level at the end of the season. But it was it was a lot of fun. It really was.
So now, what's next for Charlie Huddy? Do you have the itch? If someone called for you to be an NHL assistant coach, would you go back?
Yeah, you know what? I don't think so.
Okay.
I think I had my time there, and I think I thoroughly enjoyed my time there, and I think it's just, it's time to kick back and just relax and just watch games as a fan. You still, when I'm watching games, you still at the edge, you kind of go, oh, why are you doing that? Like,
hey, you're a fan, man.
Yeah, you're right on
There
the
you
edge.
go.
You're right on the edge of your seat, right? And you know what? I'm enjoying it, just kind of hanging out. I mean, I had 42 years of playing and coaching, grinding and out every day, and it you know what? Like people understand how hard it is to coach in the NHL.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of hours that go into, when you make a tape, a penalty kill tape or a 5-on-5 tape, like you're watching, like, who knows, 6, 7, 8 hours of hockey to put 2-minute penalty kill tape together.
Yeah.
So it's a grind. Like, and you're trying to stay ahead of the game. You're playing back to back. You're trying to get video done. You're trying to teach players how to, to get them better, and there's a lot that goes into it. And I don't know if people understand how hard it is, and the fact that the pressure that there is of winning every night. So business is driven by winning games, right? And if you're not winning, then.
So before I let you go, I have to ask you, Oiler fans, the text line's going crazy. What does Charlie think? How do you improve the Oilers' defensive game?
You know what? They've got 5 guys have got to commit to it. Like, every time we say, as soon as you say defense game automatically goes to the defense, right? Defense got to get better, whatever. But you know what? For me, it's 5 guys out on the ice that got to work together. Like, there can't be talked about it earlier. It can't be a big separation of your defense being at the top of your circles and the forwards that are coming back are at the red line. It can happen. You gotta move as 5s. It's like the penalty kill. You got to move as 4 guys. If you move as 1 guy and another guy moves slowly, then there's too many holes. And I think that's part of it for me is that when the puck gets turned over, it's coming back the other way. They're just not moving as 5. And you know what? Everybody's squeezing their sticks hard right now, right? Because of the situation that they're in. But you know what? They just got to go out there and play the game. They got to have a game plan going in and get things turned around. They need a little luck, and
a little bit
around that net. You say you ran into a hot goal, but you know what? You need a little bit of luck once in a while. The goalies are good in this league. It's tough to score.
Charlie, thank you so much for your time joining us today on Who Is It Wednesday. You're welcome back anytime.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
That is Charlie Huddy, Hall of Famer, Edmonton Oilers, and of course 5-time Stanley Cup champion. Let's get to the Con Man and Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Well, no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Pay Warren Center at legacyheating.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Edmonton Oilers goaltender Jack Campbell's career waiver has been assigned to the AHL's Bakersfield Condors in a corresponding move. Callum Pickard has been recalled. So far this season, Pickard has 8-2 record with a 9.3 save percentage. It's just 3 games in the NHL tonight. Sens take on the Maple Leafs. Washington hosts the Panthers and the Kings in Sin City. Minnesota Wild are trading defenseman Kalen Addison to the San Jose Sharks for winger Adam Raska and a 5th-round pick in 2026 from the NFL. New York Giants will start undrafted rookie quarterback Tommy DeVito when they take on the Dallas Cowboys this weekend. In the majors, free agent third baseman Matt Chapman met with several teams at the GM meetings this week, including the Toronto Blue Jays, who he spent the last 2 seasons with. 14 games in the association, the Raptors in Dallas on the Mavs. That gets going at 6:30, and 4 games in the AJ, including Sherwood Park hosting the old Grizzlies. That will get going at 7 o'clock. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet. 5 questions, and it's your next chance to help your neighbor. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
It's a triumphant return to the airwaves. Hi, I'm Colin from Cantor, and this is a great call. Cantor proudly continues our partnership with Jason Gregor, eagerly rejoining his team on Sports 1440.
rodeo clowning felt like an exciting opportunity. Boy, was I ever wrong. The Bulls. So predictable. But you know what's exciting and unpredictable? PlayAlberta.ca. I can bet on any sports game, play online casino games anytime, buy lottery tickets anywhere.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today and get over $100 in welcome bonuses. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. When it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style. Mr. Dirk.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Hey world, get ready to believe. At Oodle Noodle, we serve up world-class, worldwide flavors in our sweet, saucy, and fiery noodles. We believe in the power of nudes. We've got everything from saucy mac and cheese to sizzle and pad thai to so many other unbelievable dishes sure to make you a noodle convert for life. You've got to taste them to believe it. Don't be skeptic. The proof is in the noodles. Check us out at oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle. We believe in noodles.
There's two seasons in Alberta, winter and construction. During these days of traffic barricades and slower commutes, GS Construction reminds you those crews are improving our communities. They're rehabilitating and upgrading Edmonton's infrastructure all across the city. When you see barricades running into a traffic backup, remember, the crews are there to help. Drive slow and be patient. Help make our city better and join the GS Construction team. See what they're hiring for on Indeed.com. GS Construction, laying the groundwork for your community since 1974.
This is a commercial for Corporate Business Solutions.
Corporate Business Solutions, aka CBS. That's also known as CBS.
As I was saying, Corporate Business Solutions empowers any business to become more efficient and profitable with office machine technology that really works.
That's why they're the #1 Konica Minolta authorized dealer in all of Western Canada.
Well, why don't you just read the next line?
Sure. Corporate Business Solutions. Local service, local support, local always.
Visit cbsca.com.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job, from home to auto and even commercial installation or repairs. We're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Of course, this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Roads can be dangerous. Accidents happen. If you are injured, Leading Edge experts work with and, more importantly, for you. You don't have to go where your insurer tells you to go. 6 locations in the Edmonton region. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. And it all. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock. Welcome back to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440. Live on Owners Nation YouTube, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Alberta's only regulated online gambling website, where all the revenue stays right here in the province. So even if you lose, you can kind of win. Helps with roads and everything else. PlayAlberta.ca. Big thanks again to Charlie Huddy for coming in, man. That Al Rollins story is still awesome. Like, those are some of the stories, man, I just love. Like, imagine your head coach, your first year of pro hockey. You're in Houston, and they realize, man, our bench, like, there's no glass behind the bench. So they had to rope off to the first 2 rows so fans could sit there. There's no place for the coach to stand. So he actually get a chair at the end of the bench, and he brings in a microphone and a speaker and calls out the line changes because there's no assistant coaches. Remember, it's one-man band back then. That is unbelievable. Just think about that for a second. Oh, different time, man. And that's like 1980. It's not crazy. I get it. What was that, 43 years ago or so? But still, that's awesome stuff. Let's get to the spec report. I know he's I think he's moving around transit something today, so he's got to come on a little bit earlier. The Spec Report is always brought to you by GS Construction. And they're hiring. Go to Indeed.com. Look up GS Construction if you're looking for a great job, great benefits, and great company and culture. That's what they have at GS Construction. As Mr. Spector joins us once again. And Spec, here's my question to you. What's your sense? Are we going to see Calvin Pickard tomorrow?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Okay.
I think that I don't know. I don't have a. I asked Woodcroft this morning, and I asked him if Pickard's going to see him NHL time at some point, and he wouldn't give you an answer. So he gave no clue as to who would play tomorrow. So we're left to guess. And my guess would be that they would show faith in Stuart Skinner and say, "We think you can win us a game. And then when you do win us a game, we're going to play you again in Seattle." That's what I think will happen. But it'll surprise you. Jason, I've been wrong before.
Well, it was interesting because we had Charlie Huddy in for an hour, and Who Is It Wednesday, and we were talking about when he got called up, got an assist in his first game, he got a goal in his second game, he got a goal in his third game, and he talked about how when Slats called guys up, he'd play it. He'd say, "Hey, I want to see if you can play or not." And, you'll show us if you can play or not. And to me, like normally, you know what, you call up a goalie from the American League, call him to be the backup, get at that. But this is not a normal situation. The Edmonton Oilers are 2-8-1. The goaltenders have not been very good. At the end of the day, I get defense in front of them, all that stuff. The goalies have not been good. And the guy that got sent down had a better save percentage than the guy who's still there. Now, I see they're playing the worst team in the league, the San Jose Sharks, right? And they're the worst by significant margins. If you look at all the data, everything else, I know they're only 2 points behind the Oilers, which shows you how bad the Oilers start has been. But I can make an argument to say, because sure, you want to get Skinner going, but at the same time, what if you lose to the Sharks because Skinner lets a weak goal? You lose 2-1 because you can't score. You know what I mean? It's not a guarantee, as much as I hope it is, but it's not a guarantee that they win.
No, and that's where the Oilers are at. The decision is: do we play the guy that was brutal and not good at all in Vancouver and allowed us not to win a game that we came out looking like we were going to win, or do we play a guy that is a minor league veteran that hasn't played meaningful games in the NHL in a long, long, long time? That's the rock and the hard place, pal, that Jay Woodcroft is standing between right now. And I guess you could say there's no right choice. You could also say there's no wrong choice in that scenario, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, fair enough. But to me, if they call up Calvin Pickard and don't play him here, I'm wondering, what's the point at some point? I don't see how it can be worse than the two goalies you have in their save percentage combined. So.
Listen, I don't think, judging by the way Stu Skinner's been playing so far, best case run finds his game, and you can't wait to run him out every night. That's the best case scenario. Reality tells us that Skinner's going to open the door, Pickard to get a start here in the next while. Campbell's not coming up in the next 5 days, pal. He's down for a while.
Yeah.
So there'll be a start along the way for Pickard here. Don't you worry. You'll get to see the kid play.
So here's my question to you about Mr. Campbell. Do you think he's able to find his mojo / game in the American League that could allow him to be a competent NHL goalie again?
Nah. I mean, his issue is he makes $5 million. So even if he's a competent backup, you can have a $5 million backup, right?
Yeah, fair.
You can't have it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. Him becoming, serviceable isn't an option. He has to become a number one. So let's rephrase your question, right? Is Jack Campbell ever going to come back to Edmonton as a guy that's worth paying?
And Draisaitl is aligned together tomorrow again?
Well, they practiced. Did you see the lines today that came out?
I did not.
Okay, they didn't practice that way today. I forget how they went now. It was Holloway alongside Draisaitl, and maybe Fogle on the other side, I think.
Okay.
I thought that we saw McLeod up on the top line with McDavid, and I believe it was Hyman on the other side. And one line that Woodcroft kept together at practice today, he likes, and I like, the Kane Gagne RNH line's pretty good. So I'm going off memory because I'm standing in the boarding lounge here, but I believe that's how they lined up today.
I look at, like the Edmonton Oilers, they go into San Jose, Spec, and obviously, selfishly, personally, I have lots on the line for this one. More than probably one of the dumbest things I've ever said on live radio occurred on Monday.
Yeah, I'm a little excited about this.
Screw you, Spec. Screw you. But like, I looked at the Sharks, like I watched that game with interest last night, because now I do have a vested interest. And Mackenzie Blackwood played very well. But the Sharks are not a very good team, Spec. They acquired Kalen Addison today. That maybe that helps their power play, but he's not a great defender either. They've already tomorrow is their 13th game of the season, Spec, and he'll be their 11th defenseman they've already used. Right, like it's amazing. Like the Sharks, Sport Logic puts out these stats, right? And they have 13 categories of offense, 13 categories of defense. The Sharks are 32nd in all of them but 2. Right? Like this is just not a very good team. They're beginning outscored 55-14. Like there is no, the Oilers like can't win this game and win it handily where they don't give up a lot of chances and they score. To me, I think the problems are even worse than we think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's time for the players on this Oilers team. Let's stop worrying about coaches. Let's stop worrying about you can't stop worrying about goaltending. You still are going to need saves tomorrow night, no matter what happens. But all of this other defensive systems, blah blah blah. These players that the Oilers have is a far better collection of players than the San Jose Sharks are going to have on the ice tomorrow night. And it's time now for that group of players. I don't know what's going to happen from here on in, but you damn well better not lose a game in San Jose. These points, like, they just have to have these points. And if this group can't put together a 60-minute hockey game tomorrow night and beat that AHL roster down in San Jose, then, you know what? I'm going to take a fresh look at what I thought was a pretty good roster. You got to win that game. Just get out there and win a hockey game. You're better than the other guys. Show me. Just show me.
I understand you have to stay positive. I actually believe in that mindset. Being negative isn't going to help you at all. But there's also like a level of accountability. I love your question afterwards, right? Do you sense, like, talking to the players, do they have an internal, like, are they holding each other accountable? Like Charlie Huddy mentioned, him and I talked during commercial breaks, goes, ultimately, the players are the ones who can be the best holders of accountability.
Well, I mean, all I got for you is I asked McDavid, and it's in a piece that's out there on Sportsnet.ca today. I asked that exact question of McDavid about accountability, and Connor said to me, he said, "Look, I'm not the coach here. I'm the captain of the team, and I can only speak to the players." And he says, "We've got plenty of accountability among us." He says, "We're not stomping on guys in the media in front of fans and all that, but he says, inside this room, there's a lot of conversations, and the accountability is where it's supposed to be." That's all I got. I'm not in the room, Jay. You're not in the room. All I can do is ask the players who are in the room. And Connor McDavid, those were his words. You can read them on the piece. And, honestly, that's all I got for you on that front. We can talk about if we think there's enough accountability, Jay, because we can sit there and see who's getting what shifts when and who's playing what minutes where. But in terms of what's going on in the room, there's 21 guys that know, right? And you and me aren't two of them.
You mentioned Binnington. And I understand the Oilers are looking at every option. I just don't see why St. Louis would be interested in that trade.
Yep.
Right?
Binnington, it's 4 years and $6 million left, I think, or 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years after this. Yeah, same contract as Campbell, but $1 million more. Like, why would St. Louis at this point? Because if you're doing the trade, obviously Campbell's going the other way. Why is St. Louis even considering that?
Okay, I don't know what they're doing because St. Louis needs a goalie, and I don't know who they have behind them. This is a weird one. Trading goalies is weird. because almost always the team that trades a goalie needs one back.
Yes.
And this has to be my last answer because the girl at the boarding thing staring at me.
Perfect.
But this, when you trade a goalie, you usually give one back. But guys aren't going to want a $5 million minor league goalie. Well, This is a weird trade. You're almost looking for a team that's got 3 goalies, and there are not many of them, right?
Yeah.
So it's a very, and throw the log of the fire, it's November, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's still in it. So this is hard. It's a tough scenario. Kenny Holland and I would probably say Brad Holland are responsible for this contract thing, camp thing, and now they got to get out of it somehow.
Yeah, well, Spec will let them work their magic. Fly safe. Don't get the evil death stare from the ladies. We'll let you go.
Yeah. Okay, brother. Thanks, man.
That's Mark Spector on his way to San Jose. The Oilers are taking on the Sharks. They were in Vancouver for a few days, practice there, and then now we'll see what they can do against the Sharks, who are now at least with a win on the season. They avoided setting the NHL modern day record for longest winless streak to start a season, which would have been 12 games. They're now 1-10-1 after a 2-1 victory last night over the Philadelphia Flyers, where Mackenzie Blackwood stopped 38 of 39 shots. The Sharks got outshot 39-19, but got a victory. As I mentioned earlier today, they acquired Kalen Addison for a 5th-round pick from the Minnesota Wild. And Addison, who's expected to play tomorrow for the Sharks, it's the 13th game. He'll be the 11th different defenseman they've used so far this season. They are looking for answers. They're a team that not only are they getting outscored 55-14, they're getting outshot by a massive margin as well. There's a reason I would make such a ridiculous claim on Monday that I didn't think Connor would hold me to, but hey, he's the type of guy. That the Oilers, that's a game they should win. Like, there's no reason to lose that game. None. Like, the Edmonton Oilers are deserving of their record. I think that's fair. As are the Sharks. The difference is the Oilers' skill level is better than their record. They could actually play better. The Sharks can't play much better. That's who they are. They're just not a very good team. Edmonton can be a better team. Not a dominant team, but it can be a better team. And it better start tomorrow night for them. 4:25, we'll take a quick break. We got more on the Wednesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show. Mike Rupp is coming up a little bit later on in the show. We will also be hearing from Marcus Grant. We got Help Your Neighbor and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Your weather is hard on your vehicle. Keep it in top shape with Pennzoil Ultra Motor Oil from Jiffy Lube. Oil changes on your schedule and 25 bonus air miles with your Shell Go Plus app. Jiffy Lube.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything for the athlete and sports fan on your list, including United gift cards. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
First Round is Edmonton's NFL headquarters. Get in the game and watch NFL football this season at First Round, and you'll have a chance to win a trip to your favorite NFL city to watch a game in person next season. And the hits keep on coming with food and drink specials, big screen TVs, and more. Catch the Pro Bowl brunch every Sunday, Monday Night Football,
And head in Thursdays for your chance to win an NFL replica helmet. NFL at First Round. Burgers, beer, sports. Downtown West Edmonton Mall and at 1strnd.ca.
Are you ready to light up your game like Edmonton lights up the ice?
Then choose Ewell.
Electrical Wholesalers Edmonton Limited offers lightning fast service. Just like your favorite forward, they deliver your electrical supplies in record time.
Plus winning quality. They only stock the best.
And don't forget about their all-star support. When it comes to customer service, they're the playmakers.
So don't sit in the dark. Make the power play and visit Ewell today. Online at ewel.ca, where excellence in electrical meets the heart of hockey.
Our cars are our lifeline, and every now and then we need to take care of them too. Cochran's Automotive services your vehicle with pride. When you need to fix it up, bring the whole family fleet. Junior's WRX, Mom's MPV, Dad's 1500, or even Grandpa's old 88. All makes and models are welcome. Trust Cochran's Automotive to professionally repair your family's pride and joy. They've got you covered for Volkswagen diesel timing belts too. Call 780-452-5001.
Does anyone buy an RV in the fall? I mean, why would you go to all the trouble to find just the right one when you can't enjoy it until the spring? Only someone like Rick Showers from Noble RV would know the answer. Ain't that right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. You'd be surprised how many people buy their RV from us in the fall. It's a buyer's market. The people who sell their RVs with us are often a little more motivated to sell this time of year. And that means a better deal for you. And when you buy your quality used RV from No Bull now, I cover the cost of storage and winterization for the coming winter, so you can pick it up in the spring, ready to roll, without paying an extra cent.
Winterization and storage? That can cost quite a bit, Rick.
Not when you come to No Bull. Our inventory is constantly changing. Something we have today, we might not have in the spring. So the best time to find the RV that's right for you is anytime.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every single Oilers game at OTR with $4.50 Molson Canadian and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers score and win, and you could walk away with a ton of On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
You say your mom ain't home and ain't my concern. Just to play with me and you won't get burned. I have only one itch and desire. Let me stand next to your fire. Let me stand, yeah. Let me stand, baby. Let me stand. Oh, let me stand. Oh, I'll move over. And let Jimmy take over. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, get on with it, baby. Ow. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I dig it. You try to give me your money, you better save it, babe. Save it for y'all.
4:30. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you Wednesday afternoon on Sports 1440. Coming again live from the Ewell studio. That's EWEL.ca for all your electrical needs. That's where you want to be. So combine two. Basically, with Ewell, it's where sports and electricity collide. So stay plugged in as we power you up for the rest of the afternoon on Sports 1440. We will hear from Mike Rupp at the top of the hour. Marcus Grant will join us also after Rupper. We got 5 questions coming up. We got loads and loads of text to get to in our Jiffy Lube inbox, 833-401-1440. Guys, Pickett's got 116 NHL games. Why wouldn't you play them? I honestly, I think there's a fair argument to play Pickard. I understand the argument to say, we think Skinner's our guy. We got to get him built up. What better way to have him play against the worst offensive team in the league? So sure, I understand that. I think it's very plausible that Stuart Skinner could have, a comfortable night tomorrow night. If the Edmonton Oilers decide to be committed, which I can't guarantee. You've watched the games as much as I have. Can anybody guarantee? Like, we've seen them, the Winnipeg game, very good defensively. Calgary game, excellent defensively. Sadly, they've played 11 games. And the other 9 did not have that commitment. In some cases, not remotely close to that commitment. So I can't say with any sort of confidence that, the Oilers will play sound defensively. And even when you play sound defensively, the other team might get 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 quality chances. Well, your goalie's just got to make some of those saves. Can't just say, well, geez, if the guys don't give up any chances, then we got a great goalie. It's not how it works. So I totally understand the those. Hey, Gregor, it's typical Oilers of this era. Call up guys and not play them. Very often opposite of what Charlie said from Dwayne. Dwayne, you're right. I loved hearing that. He says, hey, if you're going to call up a guy, then play him. Right? Now, you know what? If it's a fourth line player who's injured and your team's rolling and you call up a player, you're not suddenly going to say, well, let's throw him and, demote somebody in our top 9 who's playing well. I understand in that case, but guess what? You could make an argument. Hey, Raphael Lavoie, play him. And definitely you can make an argument. Calvin Pickard, play him. Right? As Struddy said yesterday, has Stuart Skinner earned the right to be the starter based on this year's play? No. Now, I guess, there's people will say, well, there's loyalty, man. You got to look what he did last year. Okay. But last year's last year, right? It's a new season now. That's what makes sports so great. If last year meant so much, the Oilers wouldn't be 2-8-1. But guess what? Last year means absolutely nothing right now. Nothing. And you know what? Even Monday means nothing right now. You can't change it. You got to play better. Woodcroft, my gut tells me he'll go with Skinner. I could make the argument why I'd go with Pickard. I think going with Pickard would be one to say, you know what? We're going to give him a chance. But it's also, hey, Stuart, if you want to play, you got to play better. Okay? Jack Campbell just got sent down. This is not, hey, whatever. I can just keep. Obviously, they're not going to put Skinner in the minors. A team would claim him on waivers, no question. He's a young guy, doesn't have a very high contract for a few years. The teams would look and say, hey, you know what? I think there's a young goaltender here. It's 6 games, right? And maybe that's Woodcroft saying, it's 6 games. I think he'll find his game. Maybe. But there's an argument that you could do. Now, I will say this. Being good in the minors doesn't equate to being good in the NHL. Okay? It doesn't. So it is a massive jump from the AHL to the NHL for defensemen, for forwards, even for goaltenders. Right? It can be a big jump. Some guys make it look seamless at times, but that's a very rare group of players who do that. Speaking of rare, it is your chance to qualify now for Help Your Neighbor, where you can win a bevy of prizes and gift somebody in your circle a huge prize, which is their own high-efficiency Goodman furnace, all installed, all the permits, 5-year warranty on labor, 10-year warranty on parts, a lifetime warranty on your heat exchanger, all from Legacy Heating and Cooling. Okay, now they have to own their home and they have to live within 100 kilometers of Edmonton. You, on the other hand, you're going to win. Number one, if you qualify today, you get the brand new Sports 1440 hat just for qualifying. You go in the draw, which will be on Monday, November 20th in the 4:00 hour. And if your name is called, you will win a pair of seats on a Friday, December 8th. Lower Bowl, Oilers Attack Twice, great seats, courtesy of the Gregor Show. You will also receive, you can get an installed Google Nest or an Ecobee Smart Thermostat. It's your choice from Legacy Heating. And then you're going to be able to gift somebody that furnace. So Today in the text line, Collins, he loves reading. He loves reading. So send in somebody that you feel that you could gift a really good furnace to. Somebody who needs it. Connor likes to do the random draws, likes tugging his heartstrings. Likes to maybe have a tear drip down into his mustache, which looks like he's been growing it for 2 months, but it's only been 6 days. He's one of those guys. Got a pretty sick stash already. Okay, so text us 833-401-1440 and why or who you would like to give it to and why. And then we'll do a random draw during the commercial break. Connor will call you, so be sure to answer your phone because he gives you 2 chances. He calls. If you don't answer the second time, he goes to another random winner. 833-401-1440 and include your name. Good luck. We'll return on the Jason Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Some things just work together. Sticks and pucks, cleats and AstroTurf. Your love for the game and Papa John's passion for better ingredients. Better pizza. Nothing pairs with the game like Papa John's. Crafted with signature sauce, toppings, and original fresh dough. They're the champion of pizza. And now you're the champion of winning deals. Just order at papajohns.ca. Use promo code SPORTS20 and score 20% off any regular menu price order. Better ingredients. Better pizza. Papa John's. That's Sports 20.
Storm chasing sounds exciting. Most days, though, it's a lot of standing in the rain. But you know what's exciting and dry? PlayAlberta.ca. With hundreds of new live tables, online casino games, and instants.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code Casino50 and get a $50 welcome bonus. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 place for people who want heating and cooling. Because you'll save a bundle and get both with a heat pump. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Time for a heat pump, bring it to me! Gonna get a deal from Legacy! Your heat pump from Legacy will heat and cool while saving you a bundle in energy costs. Plus, you'll get a rebate up to $5,000 and no payments, no interest for 1 year. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
When you hand deliver a hamper to a family in need, everyone's hearts fill with joy. Be part of the Holiday Hamper Program, a charitable experience unlike anything in Edmonton. Sign up to adopt a local family, fill a hamper with food and gifts, then bring it to their door and see the difference you're making firsthand. With the rising cost of living impacting so many families, the need has never been greater. Sign up for the Holiday Hamper Program today at holidayhamper.ca.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
There's one big reason to get your Christmas shopping started today.
We can make it way more rockin'.
Shop now at Amadeus Music for the Too Early for Christmas sale. No blasting of classic oldies yet. No whiskers on kittens. Just some rockin' good deals. Receive 12 months of 0% financing on everything in-store on approved credit. Plus, a huge selection of pianos, guitars, drums, and gift cards too. Shove that down your stocking at AmadeusMusic.ca.
Guardian Drugs Killam is a shopper's delight. Come find friendly advice, outstanding products, and smiling service.
Save on essentials at Guardian Drugs. Tresemme hair care products are $4.49 each. Selected Option Plus first aid products are 25% off. Dawn dish liquid is just $1.99.
You'll find all this and more at Guardian Drugs, East Central Alberta's largest independent drugstore with friendly, knowledgeable pharmacists and technicians on staff. Open to serve you at the south end of Main Street, Killam.
Are you getting a share of the profits from your bank? Each year, Vision Credit Union returns about 75% of our credit union profits to our members through profit shares and cash dividends. Last year, our profit share payout was $14.25 million. That's a big cash infusion for our members and for rural Alberta communities. It's time you got your share of the profits. Find out how at whatsyourshare.ca.
Did you strike out on booking Network Travel's 2023 baseball trip to see the Jays play by the Bay in Seattle? Well, registration is now open for the 2024 trip next season. Want to fly in for the Sunday, July 7th game and return the same day? Or do you want to fly in Saturday morning and catch both games that weekend with an overnight stay? Either way, it won't be long before Network Travel has a full count for both options. So book today at networktravel.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Try the Shakaroni, a big pizza with a big impact for only $21.99 for every Shakaroni sold until December 31st, 2023. Papa John's will donate $1 to Second Harvest. Order at papajohns.ca.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
my love. All right. Let you know, girl, you're looking good. You're out of sight.
4:43 on a lovely Wednesday afternoon. How are you? Getting set for a light night in the National Hockey League tonight. And then tomorrow, of course, Oilers are in San Jose. Bevy of games tomorrow. You do have a few interesting ones tonight. Ottawa and Toronto, always a good rivalry game. Florida and Washington. What about the Capitals? Very quietly, 5-4-1. And then you have LA and Vegas, which, you know, if this season had been normal, Oilers fans would probably be like, hey, I want to watch that one. Oilers should be close to competing with them. Not the case thus far. Maybe it changes soon, but it'll gonna take a while. Gonna take a while for the Oilers to get in even kind of stone's throw from either the Kings or the Golden Knights at this point. Help Your Neighbor, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Lots of great texts. The con man picks one. Connor, who is our lucky qualifier today?
Today, I think we got to go with Jeremy.
Jeremy. All right. Jeremy, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Oh, great. Good to hear from you, Gregor. How you doing?
Hey, I'm excellent, man. Congratulations. You win the hat, the brand new Sports 1440 hat. Also, you're entered into the draw. And if your name is called, you will win the pair of seats to the Oilers game on Friday, December 8th, Lower Bowl, where the Oilers attack twice. And also, you can choose an Ecobee Smart Thermostat or get the installed Google Nest in your house from Legacy Heating and Cooling. But most importantly, you're going to win the opportunity then to gift a brand new high efficiency furnace to someone in your circle. Who you want to gift it to?
Yeah, totally. I definitely give that to my brother. He's got a daughter and a new daughter. So he's got 2 kids, and that would be great for him.
All right. Okay. Well, stay on the line, and Con Man will get all of your information. And who knows? Maybe your bro will be getting a furnace.
That would be great. Thanks, Gregor.
All right. No problem. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. So it's that easy. We are getting down to, we have now 7 qualifying days left. That's it. It goes by fast. I like it. 7 days left. And then we will do the draw on Monday, November 20th. Someone's going to win the package worth over $8,000. But more importantly, a huge opportunity for someone to get a furnace in their home and someone who could really use it. It's nice. Hey, guys, is there a way to see what Stu's save percentage is if you remove the odd man rush goals or even more specific cross crease goals with a screen? My eye test says if Stu can see it, he has a chance. He will stop the puck. Just me from Millsy. Well, Millsy, I would say I think he saw the shot right down the lane from Puis Suter last game. There, like, to remove cross crease clappers, goals with the screen, goals off the rush. So basically, if the team plays great in front of him, he's going to save it. I don't know. That's Las Vegas goalies. Yeah, it really helps. No question. There's no doubt the Oilers' defensive system can be better. There's no debate on that. But it's fair to say the goalies have to play better. Right? They just have to. That's their job. Right? The scorer's got to score more. It can't just always be, wow, the goalie's never at fault. If the team was in front of him was better, then he'd be better. Well, no. Part of being a goalie is you make a save. That's your job. Some of them are going to be harder. Look at the Oilers. Look at the Dallas game. It's a prime example. Did the Oilers get a lot of chances? What about Markstrom? Did they get a lot of chances? Sorry, not Markstrom. Demko. They get a lot of chances? Did those goalies make the save? Yeah. Sometimes your goalie is going to make a save that maybe he shouldn't based on numbers. You just need your goalie to do that sometimes. And the Oilers goalies need to do that more. The players need to play better, 100%. But I can't excuse the goalies. I just can't do it. They have not played up to their standard. And I think they would be the first ones to admit they haven't played up to their standard. They need to be better. No question about it. Let's get to 5 questions now. They're always up to Connor Halley standard. Pretty solid all the time. Brought to you by The Brick. Black Friday early access sale is on right now at The Brick, as you can get $900 off a big screen TV. And any TVs 50 inches or larger, guess what? Free delivery. So get it now. Great savings at The Brick and thebrick.com. You're listening to
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Gregor, question number 1. Today, the Oilers practice. UBC goaltender Doran Ludding was out as kind of an emergency goalie. Of course, the Oilers need someone in between the pipes today. So I will ask you this. If you could go out and participate in any team's practice, any sport, just for one practice, which would you like to go out and give it your best at?
Interesting question. I'd like to shag flies and do batting practice. And I'd want to do it at, I was going to say the Green Monster, but I never hit it out of the Green Monster. So, but no, you know what? Yeah, in Boston, because the right field porch is a little bit shorter. So, but Boston, just for the opportunity, but I'm not even caring about hitting a home run. That to me would be a fun experience. And also, it's one where, like, if you got to go out in an Oilers practice, like, come on, you're going to get embarrassed, right? But I could stand in there and the guy's throwing, like, we did it once, like, I could at least hit it, right? Like, unless it's going to be a guy, like, throwing for real, well, then, of course not. I'm not hitting a curveball. I'm not hitting anything that's super fast. But if it's just, like, the BP pitcher, then I could hit it, right? I think maybe if it's close, I could probably catch a few balls. Shag a few flies that are, like a lazy pop-up. Don't hit a screamer into the gap. I don't need to pull a hammy. So, that would probably be the safest. And I think it'd be kind of a thrill. That'd be fun. You?
I think I would just like to go to a NBA practice and just see how big those guys are and how quick they are for how, their size.
They're massive.
Obviously, I'm probably not going to have a whole lot of success, but between that or football, just to see, going down to Elks practices, you really get a new respect for just how good of athletes those linemen are, being so big and so quick. So I think the NBA would be the next one for me. Probably the Spurs. I want to see Wembanyama in real life and how he's looking out there. Question number 2 for you. We saw some accountability last night as Jonathan Huberdeau was benched for the 3rd period in the Flames-Preds game. Now the Flames would come back and win. How do you think Huberdeau responds, being that guy benched, $10.5 million contract? He's obviously stealing a lot of the headlines down south.
You look at Jonathan Huberdeau, I'm sure he's wondering, like, what's gone wrong here? Like Jonathan Huberdeau, I know I'm not even talking about the 115 points. You look over a 4-year span, he was a top 5 point producer. Now, did Barkov have something to do with that? Obviously, right? I don't know if we thought it was that much, but yeah, Huberdeau, you know what? He's got a guaranteed contract, although I guess he could get bought out, but it's a ridiculous buyout. So, you know what? Money at this point is irrelevant, I think, to a player. You just want to have fun. I don't see how he's having much fun. And I'm sure him and the coach have had conversations. You just don't bench a guy because of one bad period, right? That's rare, especially a top-end player. So, there's a lot of thought put into it. When you win the game, when you're trailing, then you know what? It strengthens the coach's decision. And now we'll see what Huberdeau is made of. How does he respond? Because if he mopes and pouts, guess what? It's only going to get worse. So I don't know, man. I can't say for certain. I don't really know Jonathan Huberdeau at all. But all I know from his time in Calgary, he has been very, very much an underachiever. And so he's got to work his way out of this. You know what? Work harder. Get outside your comfort zone. And then we'll see kind of what he's made of.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, obviously, for a long time, we thought, well, the story with Huberdeau in Florida is kind of underrated. And, you know, now that we get a chance to see him a little bit closer, he hasn't lived up to that contract, that's for sure. And it's crazy to see. You know, I won't say I have sympathy, maybe empathy. I hope for his sake he can find a way to get out of it. But you're right. He's got to start doing, you know, things and get out of his comfort zone, find a way to make an impact in other ways. And we'll see if he does it. But I guess on a human level, I hope he can find some success. Maybe it's elsewhere. Question number.
I don't see how it's elsewhere, dude. No one's training for him.
Take on that deal. Question number 3. At Habs practice today, Brendan Gallagher and Michael Pezzetta wore neck guards. Both guys admitted it was an adjustment, but it didn't affect their breathing, and they think they're just going to get ahead of the curve because they think one day it will be mandatory. Do you think that we're going to start to see this more and more around NHL rinks?
Potentially. All right. Players try it, the teammates see it, and then they talk to them. Are they using the War Road ones that are just the one piece that the TJ Oshie was? Probably. And like I know that lots of the players, like I talked to Vincent Desharnais about this. You know, lots of the players already have the ones that have your wrists, right? Like the War Road has it where they have the synthetic right on your wrists, right? So I think it's something that comes natural, and I don't think it's necessarily. Well, I'll say this. It becomes a lot easier to enforce it and say, okay, it's mandatory once the majority of players have put it on themselves. Then it's really kind of it's a non-discussion, right? So, you know, you're seeing it a junior when major junior players are now going to wear it. It just becomes a little bit easier for other players. So, you know what? I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, and I wonder if maybe it gets grandfathered in similar to visors. And, you know, when you're coming into the league, since you've already done it the last 2, 3, 4 years, sure. Maybe you're not opposed to it.
Like it's the neck protector is the easy one. I really hope they don't ever go to full face shields. Just me personally, I do think it restricts your vision on the ice. So that one I think would be a much bigger sell for sure. But I don't have any issue if they want to put in the neck protectors. I don't see much of a distraction or disruption for the players.
Yeah, for sure. Just a comfort thing there. Question number 4 for you. Who do you have winning in the CFL conference finals this weekend?
Man, how about that West final? Ooh, that is going to be an absolute doozy. I'm very much looking forward to it, to be honest. And even Montreal and Toronto, right? Like Montreal's a decent regular season team. It's hard for me to pick the Argos to lose. So doesn't mean they can't, but I will pick the Argos. And I don't know why, but I'm going with a little bit of an upset. I'm going to take the BC Lions on the road.
Yeah.
I probably prefer Winnipeg, but I don't know why. My gut's telling me BC.
I am glad that we didn't, as much as it's cool to see like a 6-12 team or an 8-10 team sneak in. I don't want to see it. I want to see the best teams out there. So I'm glad we have the matchups we do. And I'm going to carry that on to the Grey Cup. I think the Boltmen are going to be too tough with Kelly. And then I'll say Winnipeg as well. So Argos Blue Bombers, my pick for the Grey Cup this year. And final question for you, Gregor. On this day in 1965, Days of Our Lives debuted, and it would go on to have a pretty successful run. Do you have a favorite soap opera of all time?
Oh, dude, that was the only one I ever watched. I watched it for a short time. Jennifer, oh my goodness, who didn't have a crush on her? Well, I'm sure some people didn't, but man, I did. And that was, I can't remember why or how I got into it. But I do remember watching Days of Our Lives. It was probably, during the Patch era. It wasn't very long that I was into it. Maybe about a year, 2, maybe. But that would really be the only daytime soap opera I ever got into. I couldn't, I saw some of the other ones, right? Every now and then. But, we used to watch it when Nathan Fillion was in it for quite a while. But was that One Life to Live, I think? But I was never a real huge soap opera guy. But Days of Our Lives for a while, I have to admit, a little guilty pleasure watching that. You?
No, I don't have any. I don't think I've ever watched a soap opera. Like as a kid, my mom would watch, I want to say Another World.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was one of them.
That's
but
been around a long time.
I could have lied and said Degrassi because I think that counts, but I don't want to lie to you guys. So no, I don't think I've ever really watched a soap opera.
What about a nighttime one?
I don't think so. Like what counts as a nighttime one?
At times, sports can be a little bit of a soap opera, if we're being honest.
I'm a Chargers fan. So.
Yeah, like look at that. That's it's only real life. It's not scripted. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, then like, would you count like wrestling, WWE? Because those NWO, the Monday Night War era was pretty fantastic, and I was locked in every Monday night. But I am jealous of people that watch soap operas because they get to watch, fresh content all the time. It's a lot of new episodes every year. So I wish I could be someone who, really got into it.
Yeah. 4:58. Mike Rupp, him and Speck had a game time decision change. I liked it on the fly. They switched up, so that's great. So Rupper will join us next after the comment and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Edmonton Kubota. Now, it's not here yet, and hopefully it's a while, but it's coming. Eventually the white stuff will fall and the snow will be here. Well, plan ahead with some heavy-duty equipment, snow removal, and all the accessories you need to make your snow removal stress-free at EdmontonKubota.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Oilers goaltender Jack Campbell has cleared waivers and been assigned to the AHL's Bakersfield Condors in a corresponding move. Calvin Pickard has been recalled. Pickard has a record of 2-2 so far this season with a .903 save percentage. Just 3 games in the NHL tonight. The Leafs host the Sens, Panthers in Washington, and the Kings taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. The Minnesota Wild are trading defenseman Kalen Addison to San Jose for winger Adam Raska and a 5th-round pick in 2026. In the NFL, New York Giants will start undrafted rookie quarterback Tommy DeVito on Sunday when they take on division rival the Dallas Cowboys. And from the majors, free agent third baseman Matt Chapman met with several teams at the GM meetings this past week, including the Jays, who he spent the last 2 seasons with. 14 games in the association tonight. The Raptors in Dallas taking on the Mavs. That'll start at 6:30. And Sherwood Park Crusaders in action hosting the Old Grizzlies. That one starts at 7. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mike Rupp of the NHL Network and NFL fantasy guru Marcus Grant. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Order the juice, get the points. Now at Booster Juice, it's rewarding to be loyal. Introducing the Booster Rewards app, the reward program to give you a boost. Order on the app and enjoy 1 berry point for every $1 you spend. Redeem it for tasty Booster Juice treats like your favorite smoothie, a Booster Ball, grilled fresh wraps and paninis, and cool Booster Juice merch. And with the Booster Rewards app, the more you order, the more you enjoy. Download the Booster Rewards app today. Order, earn, enjoy.
With sport and group events returning, are you looking for safe and professional travel options? Look no further than Silent Rides, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer state-of-the-art motor coaches, first-class service, and affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Any team looking to trade up is wise to wait for the right conditions. Right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, they've got some exceptional offers to help move the remaining 2023 inventory. So whether your team wants to head to the game in the sporty XC60 or the spacious XC90, you'll get up to $5,000 off or finance rates from 2.49%. Volvo Cars Edmonton is Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For a limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
Did you strike out on Booking Network Travel's 2023 baseball trip to see the Jays play by the Bay in Seattle? Well, registration is now open for the 2024 trip next season. Want to fly in for the Sunday, July 7th game and return the same day? Or do you want to fly in Saturday morning and catch both games that weekend with an overnight stay? Either way, it won't be long before Network Travel has a full count for both options. So book today at networktravel.ca.
Denim Ford's roots run deep in the history of Central Alberta. Like always, you can experience the same honest pricing and honest service that you've come to expect from all of us at Denim Ford for the past 65 years. Denim Ford is proud to be Canada's only 50-time President Award-winning dealership in customer satisfaction, treating every customer like family. Visit Denim Ford on the world-famous Wetaskiwin Auto Mile or from home at denimford.ca.
Calling plays without a playbook would make it impossible to perform on game day. Without Google AdWords, it can be just as difficult for customers to find you. Don't get stuck in the past. With the help of Sports 1440, you can make sure you're calling the right play every time, getting people in your door. Now that we've stepped into the digital world, we can tell you, every business needs Google AdWords. Because people can't get to you if they can't find you. Google AdWords. Contact us at sports1440.ca.
Need a change to winter tires? Drop by a Mr. Lube location for no appointment tire service and sales, open 7 days a week. If you're in Spruce Grove, visit Mr. Lube on the corner of Century Road and McLeod Avenue, or shop tires online at mrlube.com.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 place for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle and get both with a heat pump. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, so the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Time for a heat pump, bring it to me! Gonna get a deal from Legacy! Your heat pump from Legacy will heat and cool while saving you a bundle in energy costs. Plus, you'll get a rebate up to $5,000 and no payments, no interest for 1 year. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Winter is here. Well, it was here. Is it here? I think winter's here. I think it's safe to say winter is here. At Northgate, we sell tires at cost. That's right, at cost. With lots of tires in stock and the convenience of tire storage, we're for sure your tire destination. Give us a call or stop in at 13215 97th Street or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Roger Weird and his team at Weird Pearson Akel and Associates Private Wealth Management, helping business owners and professionals build, protect, and enjoy their wealth. Earn more now and call Roger and his team at 988-4119.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
No, we don't die. Yes, we multiply. Anyone press will hear the fat lady sing. Act like you know, Rico. I know what woe you know. Touch them up and go. Oh, ching ching. Here comes the hot stepper. I'm the lyrical gangster. Excuse me, Mr. Officer.
Just after 5 o'clock. How are you? Welcome back to the Wednesday edition of the Gregor Show, presented by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. Always thank you for listening in Sports 1440, watching Oilers Nation YouTube. Getting involved, the text line humming once again, 833-401-1440 in our Jiffy Lube inbox. The Oilers, of course, will be taking on the San Jose Sharks tomorrow night. There's a Leahy potential in the up for grabs, which is not good. Sometimes, you say stupid things in live radio that you regret. Not regret, but regret. So, yeah, that could be one of them. I'm still confident they'll win, but would have preferred I never said it, to be completely honest. So, if they lose that game, I've agreed to grow to the Leahy or some call to fire tuck. Either way, I just call it a bad look. And wouldn't be that exciting, to be honest. Maybe for some of you, but I have to admit, I'm not overly looking forward to it. I'll be watching the game with a little bit more angst than usual. It would be nice for the Oilers to show up to their skill set. That would be nice. We'll see. Let's go around the NHL now. Brought to you by McDonald's. And of course, you can stop in at McDonald's right now, and there's always great deals to be had. But did you know that Fan Day deals are back, which means you can get a Big Mac, a McChicken, or a fillet of fish for only $4 with tax when you use the McDonald's app. So check it out. Oof. Love the Big Mac. Fillet of fish, we might have to have a discussion about that one. I've talked to chat and the boys and ladies at McDonald's. I can't get on board the fillet of fish. I just can't do it. Big Mac, though, oof, God, every now and then when you have one, they're unbelievable still. Like, there's something that it's never wavered in its glorious taste. Mike Rupp joins us from the NHL Network, multiple-time Stanley Cup winner, also now the analyst for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Rupper, how you doing, my man?
I'm good. You got me hungry for a burger now.
Oh yeah, why not?
I do have this is my non-plain diet where I love a Big Mac usually, but instead of I want to lose one of the buns, I go double quarter pounder. So it's only just the top and bottom bun with Big Mac sauce. So it's basically the Big Mac just minus the bun. That's a good one. So anyway,
I've never even thought of doing that. So you go the double quarter pounder with the Big Mac sauce. Ooh, jeez.
Yeah. So you go no ketchup, no onions. Just Big
definitely
Mac
no
sauce.
onions. I'm with you on that one. God,
yeah,
it was a terrible invention. Terrible invention. So not really sure it's an invention, but nonetheless. Now, Rupper, I have to ask. You're in kind of the same world as me at times when it comes to follicles. So, and I know you got a really good sense of humor. Have you ever donned like the the Friar Tuck or the typical male pattern bottomless where you let it really grow out thick on the sides and in the back, but there's not much sunlight on the top?
No, I haven't. I have not. I was. We actually talked about it today on air. Somehow this came up, showing the quality TV we do at NHL Network. Kevin Weeks said that he would grow Steven Seagal-esque ponytail, and then I basically said, if you do that, then I'll do what you just pretty much said. So
just for fun?
I don't know. It was for something. I don't know. It was something in the league that was going on, some crazy prediction of some sort. So we'll see.
Well, hey, Rupper, if the Sharks beat the Oilers tomorrow, I have to grow one.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Like after watching Mackenzie Blackwood, like, come on, like I'm still somewhat confident, but I'll be honest, like, the confidence took a little bit of a shot last night.
It definitely did. It's funny. We were talking about the other day too, where you're talking about the Sharks and how bad they've been.
They are bad.
The back-to-back 10 goals against and all that stuff. And I start thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? It almost, I don't know as a player if I'm sitting there thinking, oh, I want to play those guys for point night. I'm saying before they got their win that they got last night.
Okay.
I'm more thinking like, I don't want to play them because if we're like a middling team and there's some things that we don't really know what's going on, or if there's not kind of going through a bad stretch, the last team I want to play is the Sharks. Because if they beat you, something's got to give, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the situation Edmonton's in. Like, I would almost, if I was Edmonton, rather play somebody else tomorrow. At least I guess San Jose got the one win out of the way. But man, it's one you got to have. And if you don't, there could be HE double hockey sticks to pay.
Yeah, for me. So, it's selfishly, Rupper, they
for
better
you,
win that
for
game.
you.
Like, I don't care about the
that's what I'm
team.
talking about.
Yeah, it'd be awful.
I'm not talking about the team. I'm talking about you.
So Jack Campbell goes on waivers, not claimed. No surprise. So now he's in Bakersfield. They call up Calvin Pickard. So Stuart Skinner actually has a lower save percentage than Jack Campbell does this year. Neither order goaltender has played up to their standards. That's fair. They got the lowest team save percentage in the league. Calvin Pickard does have 116 NHL games experience under his belt. He's played 4 American League games, and I know the American League is different than the NHL. I know that. I actually could see why I would start Pickard. It's San Jose is like the worst offensive team in the league. Like, it would send a message like, hey, Stuart, like, you got to play a little bit better here, right? But I don't think they will. What would you do? Like, what is it too stupid to just say, no, I got to go with Skinner because we need him. And so the best way to try to gain some confidence is against the 32nd place team.
I mean, it's a good point. I think right now you're trying to find anything you can to stir it up. I mean, it almost gets to the point probably inside that room where you've said so many things so many times. You say it to the media. I mean, there's only so long you can talk certain things. The Jack Campbell move certainly is something that I think would get the attention, or kind of, I would assume that all players know how kind of dire it is right now.
Yeah.
With trying to get wins in Edmonton there. But if you need another reason, I mean, that would be one to kind of do it, or another way to kind of snap everybody to attention. But, you know, it's, put it this way, and this is not to just sit here and bury and kick dirt on the San Jose Sharks. It doesn't matter who's in net.
Fair.
If
I agree.
you're going to give up opportunities and things to that team, I did their game against Pittsburgh, that 10-1 game. Honestly, Greg, I haven't seen a team like that in the NHL for a long. I don't know if I ever have. Like, they're the structural lapses, like the things that they will give up. I mean, it's mind blowing. The fact that Philly lost to them is kind of mind blowing, to be honest with you. I think when it's all said and done, this will be probably the worst team that we've ever seen in the NHL. And I hate to, but that kind of puts even more onus on, hey, be ready, guys.
Yeah.
Like, we've been stating be ready this whole time, but this is it. Like, if it doesn't get any worse than this if we go out and lay an egg. So I think if you do that move and put Calvin Pickard in, it doesn't matter. You got to take care of your business against this team, because they're not good.
Yeah. Well, you talked about what did you call it? The structural lapses that they had, combined just with, like, tomorrow's their 13th game of the season, Mike, and they just acquired Addison. He'll be the 11th defenseman they've used in their first 13 games of the year. And they don't have a lot of talent there. Like, I think it shows when they took away Erik Karlsson, people were like, oh my goodness, like, the Sharks were bad. They won 22 games last year. And that's how good Erik Karlsson was. Because I don't think they're going to, I said at the start of the year, they wouldn't win 20. And I think now I'm pretty confident they won't win 15. Like last night they won because Mackenzie Blackwood stood on his head, stopped 38 of 39 shots, right? Like, it's not like Philly played terribly, really. They didn't finish, they gave up 2 goals, which San Jose's only ever scored 2 goals twice in 12 games this year. Like, you're right. We haven't seen a team like this. And not only the lack of talent, you focused on their structure. Like, I'm not sure what structure David Quinn's implemented there. I have no idea.
No, it's, I mean, there was a stretch where there was like a controlled breakout against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh had the puck behind their own net, and they start moving up ice. And then all of a sudden, somehow in that controlled environment, it turned into like a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-2 or whatever it was, and it ended up in the back of the net. And I'm like, what? Wait, something didn't. You know, like when you're watching and you see a play happen, you're like, I think that was offside. Just something triggered in your head or your vision. Like, I've seen enough hockey. Something didn't look right there, and you go back and look. That's what happened here. I'm like, that. How did that happen?
Yeah.
I go back and I look, and they're coming up ice from out of their own zone. Pittsburgh is. And San Jose had 2 defensemen against the wall on the same side of the ice in the neutral zone. And then it ended up being, I think, Giovanni Smith that had to, like, it was in the middle of the ice as a forward and just turned around and started skating forward back. I'm like, how does that even happen? It's mind blowing. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. We always talked about the Colorado Avalanche kind of being that, remember the 48-point season?
Yeah.
And we talked about that a lot, because not too long after that's when they turned it around and they won a Stanley Cup.
That's not happening.
48 points is a long ways away from where I think that this San Jose team's going to be.
And the Sharks, like, there was Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, like, they had some skill players at least. San Jose just doesn't have a lot. They don't have a lot coming. It's going to be really long, and that's why, which would make it even worse for the Oilers to lose that game. Jonathan Huberdeau gets sat down in the third period, and Calgary comes back, wins the game. So, you know what, the message sent, and because sometimes, Mike, and I want to get your thoughts on this, when one of your teammates, who's a guy who's a top 6 forward, right, or a top 4 defenseman, when they get sat down, like, it sends a message to him, but does it not get the attention of the entire group? Like, my goodness, we better wake up.
It does. And I'm not speaking to the Calgary situation necessarily. I'm sure it is going on there to some degree too. So we're all team guys. Like we're pulling this, we're trying to pull the same rope. Like we're trying to do all these things, but you have to also, as a player, just to push yourself individually. You have selfish tendencies. We all do. We're human, right? Like, and we have those moments but I think it's important to drive yourself individually in the big team picture. And what I mean by this is, if the top end guy is not getting it done and he's not doing what he's supposed to do, and he keeps being fed those minutes, eventually, or the power play time, or, a situational play in a game where you need a goal or you need to protect a lead or whatever, if you just keep force feeding it, and I get it, there's that fine line. You got to play star players or big time players out of their slumps. But then there's also that threshold of, at some point, I'm going to lose the bench. Because if I'm a guy going out there and I'm laying my body on the line, I'm trying to do everything I'm supposed to do, and I'm playing very well, and that's never turning into anything else, but that guy's going to continue to keep playing. Now all of a sudden you start thinking to yourself, like, well, there's no accountability here. So it doesn't matter if I do well or not. Like, this is just how it is. And you start getting those thoughts in your head, and that can creep into your personal game. So I think those moments when you have them, you can't go to that well all the time, because you need those guys going, like I said, but sitting them down, it gets his attention, the team's attention that this isn't good enough. But it also helps, like, all right, someone's going to get those minutes in that situational play, get bumped up on a line. And I think that's healthy. And, it could be unhealthy if it's not handled that way.
Yeah. Mike Rupp joins us on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube. And Rupp, the Washington Capitals, man, they're over 500 here. Both them and the Panthers. Panthers have been ravaged by injuries at different times. You look at those two teams, like, are the Capitals surprising you here now a little bit? Since Backstrom's gone out, they've kind of rallied around a little bit.
Yeah, they've gotten going a little bit more. I think that we thought that they weren't going to be as bad as they were the first number of games. I mean, they looked pretty poor. So they're kind of battling back here. I'm interested and curious to see what they do with, the unfortunate situation with Backstrom, and that can create a little bit of cap room to make a decision at some point here. They're a team that we've been talking about for a number of years. That, like, are they too old? Are they? How are they gonna look? Last year was hard to get a gauge because they're so dinged up. So they're starting to put it together a little bit here. I still think that the power play needs to be better than it's been the last couple of years. That's got to be a driving force for this club.
Yeah.
Ovi will eventually get going at kind of his pace, I believe, but they're making it interesting right now. And that start they've kind of erased, and they're getting back to somewhere where it's respectable. And now it's about kind of getting to the next threshold of games. I mean, first 10 games, and if you win them or lose them, like, that doesn't make your season. It's how you kind of adjust, and if you keep building. And look at the Flyers came out; they looked amazing, right? They don't so much anymore. You could go about other teams in that same manner. So, we'll see what they do if they've got to string together some games in a tough division they play in, and that conference isn't very forgiving, but take advantage of teams that are dinged up, and the Florida Panthers are dinged up.
And lastly, the Penguins have won 2 in a row. The Anaheim Ducks have been playing pretty good hockey, and the Pens. So what's the update on Tristan Jarry? You heard Rupper. And then B, what have you seen better from the Penguins lately?
Yeah, update Tristan Jarry. The last I kind of heard there was that they're holding off on calling up. I mean, they're going to be in LA, right? So if they're going to make they're in LA now, playing tomorrow. They're kind of hesitant, I guess, at this point of doing a call up. So they're going to reevaluate Tristan Jarry, and so it sounds like he might not be that in bad shape. And it looked kind of nasty the way I think it was Adam Henrique kind of skated by the crease, and he got his head kind of dinged pretty good, and then the puck, I think, got him as well. So yeah, it'll be Magnus Hellberg will be playing against the LA Kings. The Penguins they're getting results. How do you really judge how they played against San Jose? They scored 10 goals, but last night against Anaheim was they managed the game a lot better. They didn't play as good as they have been playing, but they were losing when they were playing good. So, it's just the nature of the NHL. They're getting points right now, and they're starting to build and head in the right direction.
Rupper, always good to catch up with you, my man. We will chat with you next Wednesday. Thanks for making the last second change on the fly. We appreciate it.
All good, man. Take care.
There you go. That's Mike Rupp. Oh, I'd like to find out, man. I've talked to Weeks about what was on board there for Rupper. Because, God, if misery likes company, and if the Oilers do lose, then love to get Rupper on board on the Leahy train, excuse me. And any of you listeners who would want to join on starting Friday, if it's necessary, that would be people like support. That would be wonderful. 522, Marcus Grant will join us. Next, it is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, live on Oilers Nation YouTube, coming to you live from the eWell studio, ewel.ca, for all your electrical needs.
I got into reffing for the excitement.
He's going for the chair.
Turns out wrestling is completely scripted. But you know what's exciting and unscripted? PlayAlberta.ca. With an all-new sportsbook, odds boosts, and betting on any game.
PlayAlberta.ca. Go all in on excitement. Sign up today with promo code SPORTS50 and get a $50 free bet. Official gaming partner of the Edmonton Oilers. Remember, if you gamble, use your game sense.
What's better than getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee? Getting a delicious McMuffin and a medium premium roast coffee for only $4 plus tax. It's your favorite McDonald's breakfast for less. What's better than that? For limited time at participating McDonald's in Canada, prices exclude delivery.
One call does it all. Action Electrical is proud to celebrate 50 years of providing complete electrical services and a full circle of care, including projects, service, TAG, and energy. From humble beginnings in a small Sherwood Park basement to a family-run business, the Action Electrical stamp can be found on some of the most iconic schools, office buildings, and warehouses across Canada. From conception to completion and beyond, contact
The professionals
at actionelectrical.net today.
When you call CBS, you'll speak with a real live person located right here in Edmonton. No 1-800 number, no call centers, no waiting on hold forever. Just trained, experienced, and local service technicians. CBS is Western Canada's largest Konica Minolta factory authorized dealer of multifunction office equipment, printers, software solutions, and mailing machines. Corporate business solutions, local service, local support, local always. Call 780-490-5600 or visit cbsca.com.
Being on this road together means saving twice during the Fountain Tire Road Ready sales event. Save up to $225 on a set of 4 select tires. Plus, get a bonus $50 off any service until December 16th. Book your appointment at fountaintire.com. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Ugh, fine print.
Does anyone buy an RV in the fall? I mean, why would you go to all the trouble to find just the right one when you can't enjoy it until the spring? Only someone like Rick Showers from Noble RV would know the answer. Ain't that right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. You'd be surprised how many people buy their RV from us in the fall. It's a buyer's market. The people who sell their RVs with us are often a little more motivated to sell this time of year. And that means a better deal for you. And when you buy your quality used RV from No Bull now, I cover the cost of storage and winterization for the coming winter. So you can pick it up in the spring, ready to roll without paying an extra cent.
Winterization and storage? That can cost quite a bit, Rick.
Not when you come to No Bull. Our inventory is constantly changing. Something we have today, we might not have in the spring. So the best time to find the RV that's right for you is anytime.
And that's No Bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
Guardian Drugs Killam is a shopper's delight. Come find friendly advice, outstanding products, and smiling service.
Save on essentials at Guardian Drugs. Tresemme hair care products are $4.49 each. Selected Option Plus first aid products are 25% off. Dawn dish liquid is just $1.99.
You'll find all this and more at Guardian Drugs, East Central Alberta's largest independent drugstore with friendly, knowledgeable pharmacists and technicians on staff. Open to serve you at the south end of Main Street, Killam.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork. We've continued developing tools and are excited to announce our newest design, battery-powered nut runners. 4 models from 500 to 3,000 foot-pounds with more on the way. Learn more at Cantork.com.
Sports Radio is back. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
This is a great tune. Oh, yeah. What do they call it? Is that a banger, as they like to say nowadays? It's a classic. Man, that's a timeless song. I don't care what age you are, what era. How does that song not get the toe tapping? Unless you have no rhythm. Like, it's impossible not to be toe tapping that song. It's a great tune. Get you fired up, ready to roll. It's great. Speaking of ready to roll, let's get to the Fantasy Report, brought to you by Next Gen Transportation. Thanks for all. I just want to say a big thanks to all their team who helped them out through a very busy summer, one of the busiest for their company, and they look just to keep growing and expanding, and they're hiring. Go to Indeed.com and look up Next. That's NEX Gen Transportation.com. And another big weekend is upon us in the National Football League. From NFL Fantasy, Marcus Grant joins us once again. Marcus, how you doing, my man?
Good to talk to you, Jason. Good to be here.
Hey, man. Some interesting thing. I want to start with the Bengals, who are rolling. They had a slow start. Obviously, Joe Burrow, he's absolutely crushing it. But are you concerned at all with the perceived potential injuries in the receiving corps this week?
A little bit, although, just listening to sort of the doctors, the folks who, actually have a medical degree and didn't just stay at a Holiday Inn Express. The initial conversation was that, look, he's going to wake up on Monday morning and he's going to hate life and, he's going to think about not playing again. But as the week progresses, things will start to get better. The soreness will sort of subside. And by the time we get to the end of the week, he should be ready to go again. And that seems to be the trend things are following. Now, I know Zach Taylor has said it's really hard to gauge how things are going to go, but it does seem like it's trending in the right way. So that's a positive. A little bit concerning to see T. Higgins suddenly pop up on the injury report. I know he was limited in practice today, so that's something to kind of keep an eye on. But, on the whole, I feel okay about it. I mean, the Bengals are starting to look more like the Bengals again offensively. Joe Burrow looks healthy again. They've won 4 out of their last 5. So in a general sense, I think we can continue to be encouraged about them. But, yeah, just keep an eye on the injury report. I think we'll get a better idea by Friday. If these guys are able to go, at least in some fashion, then I think you can feel okay running them in your lineup on Sunday.
All right, and that is fair. And so there are some matchups to look at. San Fran and Jacksonville, like very quietly, the Jacksonville Jaguars are 6-2, right? I'm not just, they might be the least talked about 6-2 team around. Who do you like there from a fantasy perspective on that offense in Jacksonville? Anyone with the matchup against the 49ers?
No, this week I think there are some guys you can really count on. I mean, I think Christian Kirk is in for a really big game. He has become the number one wide receiver there in Jacksonville, where I think coming into the season, we thought maybe it was going to be Calvin Ridley. It really turns out that Christian Kirk is that guy for Trevor Lawrence and for that Jacksonville offense. And the way he is running routes, kind of working that underneath intermediate part of the field, that's where the 49ers have been having problems for the last few weeks. They're in this 3-game losing streak. That's where they've been taken advantage of defensively. So I think you're going to see a lot of targets to Christian Kirk. I think you're going to see a lot to Evan Ingram as well, because he also sort of works in that part of the field. And from a fantasy perspective, I don't know that we've talked enough about Evan Ingram. He hasn't scored a touchdown yet somehow he is still easily a top 10 tight end. And so, he has the trust for a couple of years now of Trevor Lawrence, and I think he's another guy that you can start with confidence. And then Travis Etienne, because at this point, Etienne is getting the ball so much that it's hard to keep him on your bench, even against a good 49er run defense. The fact that Travis Etienne is getting his hands on the ball 20, 25 times a game means he should be in fantasy lineups.
Okay. Are there, and I don't want to get through the obvious matchups. Everybody knows there's certain guys that are pretty much must starts. every week. But there's lots of, when you have flex discussions and flex decisions to make, let's kind of go through a few teams when I look at maybe thinking like Houston, for instance. Are you big on Dell? Where are you at there?
I think you start Tank Dell, but understand there's a lot of volatility in that offense. I mean, he and Nico Collins got off to a really hot start this season. Then he kind of faded mid-season, which is sort of to be expected from a rookie in an offense that's still trying to find itself. And then, of course, last week, the Texans had that huge game. I mean, when your quarterback throws for 470 and 5 touchdowns, you're going to have a lot of guys eat. Tank Dell was one of those guys. I think it's worth starting him just because the ceiling is potentially so high, and especially in a game like this against Cincinnati where I think the Texans are going to have to throw the football to try to stay in the game. That means more opportunities. So you are starting Tank Dell, but understand there's a risk-reward proposition that the ceiling is really high, the floor is really low. So you could get, a 15, 20-point game out of him. You could also get, 5 or 6. So just understand the risk when you're putting him in a lineup.
Now, what about the Detroit running back situation? Looks like David Montgomery's on track to come back. Jamar Gibbs has been excellent since he went down. And Montgomery was great before he went down. So what do you make of that? There's lots of times, you don't like losing your spot to injury, but what do you do there? How do you think it impacts him? Is one of them a number one, or are they both more number two options?
If what we saw early in the season is any indication, David Montgomery is the number one, but I do think we have seen Jahmyr Gibbs close the gap a little bit. I think it's hard to see what Gibbs has done for their last couple of games and then decide that he needs to go back to the bench and not get a whole lot of opportunity. So, ultimately we'll see what Dan Campbell and the coaching staff decide to do. But I do think you're going to see David Montgomery kind of get the lead role there, do a lot of the work. But I do think you're going to see Jahmyr Gibbs kind of get closer to a role that we expected of him. And I've heard some people compare it to, go back a few years to 2017 when Alvin Kamara was a rookie and was splitting time with Mark Ingram. And both of those guys turned out to be really productive. They both ended up as top 15 fantasy running backs. Ideally, we would love to see a split there, similar to that, where you've got Montgomery and Gibbs, and there's sort of a 1 and 1A situation. I just can't imagine that after watching Jahmyr Gibbs the last couple of weeks, Dan Campbell decides, hey, man, you got to go and sit down as we give the ball to Monty and March.
Marcus Grant joins us. Marcus, there's quite a few running backs coming back this week. Montgomery's one. Looks like James Conner. What about Khalil Herbert for Chicago? What do you make of those two, and where do you see them as far as starters this week?
I think Khalil Herbert is worth a start, but again, I think he's a flex start at best this week, just because not totally sure how much work he's going to get after having been out all this time. Deontay Foreman has done a great job in Herbert's absence over the last few weeks, so I don't see him completely going away. The upside for this one is that the Panthers have one of the worst run defenses in the league. And for fantasy, they have been a gold mine for running back. I mean, if you have a running back going against the Panthers, you should start that guy. So I do think Herbert should get enough opportunity that he's worthy of a flex play. I think going forward, once he's back more into game shape a little bit, then I think you can start him more as a running back too. But I think he's in play. I think Deontay Foreman also would play for the Bears on Thursday night.
What about the Raiders running back situation? What do you make of that? I saw a lot of people were spending big money on fab dollars on Keaton Mitchell. Are you buying Keaton Mitchell?
I am. I warned against spending too much fab on it just because the problem is it is a three-headed backfield there in Baltimore. Gus Edwards has been great, especially near the goal line. And I think he continues to get that goal line work, which gives him some touchdown upside. Mitchell is explosive. I mean, he is sort of the lightning to Gus Edwards' thunder. And so, he obviously has the ability to have big plays, to break big runs every time he gets his hands on the ball. The question is, how many touches is he really going to get over the course of the game? Last week, it was Justice Hill that played most of the snaps, but I'm curious as to how this is going to work. In a game this week, I expect to be closer. Last week, the Ravens just ran off and hid from the Seattle Seahawks, and you saw Justice Hill get a lot of touches in the second half when it was essentially garbage time. I don't expect it to be so lopsided against the Cleveland Browns and that very good defense this week. So I think it's worth adding Keaton Mitchell to your roster. I think it's worth having him. This week, I might not start him against a good Browns run defense.
Yes.
But also just keep an eye on how the usage is going to go, because we can sort of navigate a two-man backfield in fantasy. A three-headed monster is a little bit of a different animal. And if you can avoid it, or unless you can figure it out, it gets a little bit nervous for that.
Marcus Grant joins us. What about Kenneth Walker III? I still think he's a start guy, but how concerned do you think that, especially because he was taking some goal line handoffs away with the rookie Charbonnet?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit concerning that Charbonnet has had more snaps than him the last couple of weeks. It's weird because it took longer for this to happen than I thought. I believed coming into the season that Charbonnet was really going to eat into Walker's opportunities, especially because he's a good pass catcher, was a good pass catcher in college at UCLA. It didn't really happen for the first couple of months, but now in the last week, when you listen to Pete Carroll, he's had nothing but glowing praise for Charbonnet, and you've seen it in terms of their usage on the field. Now, the downside is that neither guy has been super productive in the last 2 weeks, neither Walker nor Charbonnet. And I think it's going to be a situation where as long as the Seahawks are close, if they're leading or if they're close, then I think it's going to be a Kenneth Walker game where they can just hand him the football, let him run, and let him be productive. In games where the Seahawks are losing or if it's one-sided, then I think you're going to see Charbonnet because he's the guy that catches the football out of the backfield. So, that is sort of hard to plan for. You never go into a game, especially if you're the Seahawks, planning to see them get blown out. But I think that is going to be how it is used. That could make it frustrating to have either Walker or Charbonnet in the near future.
What about, is there any receiver that you like not the obvious ones? Is there any receiver that you like this matchup this week? Who maybe a good possible flex option for you?
A good flex option this week. I'm trying to think of anybody who's not the obvious, like you said. I mean, I love what's going on with the Detroit Lions. I think, a guy, you're looking for a deep sleeper. A guy like Kyle Phillips with the Tennessee Titans, I think, is an interesting one. Look, Will Levis has been a nice quarterback option for them, but they cannot live on just DeAndre Hopkins alone. We've seen the last couple of weeks that Phillips has stepped in and really gotten a lot of opportunities in that offense. Again, if you're going really, really deep, I think he's a guy that you can sort of rely on there. I mentioned Christian Kirk as a guy I like in Jacksonville. Calvin Ridley, who's been a little bit frustrating, a little bit disappointing. I think there's an opportunity for him to get some opportunities there in that offense as well. So there's some guys I think you can still rock with Darnell Mooney potentially against the Panthers coming up on Thursday night. But it's going to be a tough week because you got 4 teams on a bye. You have 4 of the best offenses on a bye, right? Yeah. So you're missing Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. The scheduling gods did us no favors with the teams they put on bye this week.
If you're looking at receivers and you have Thielen, McLaren, and Metcalf, and you can dress 2, who are you dressing?
I am going to go for sure with Metcalf this week against the Commanders. I know he hasn't been great, but this feels like a really great get-right opportunity. And I would probably go with Terry McLaurin. He's been really hot lately. The rest of the Commanders' pass catchers have been a little bit shaky, but it seems like Sam Howell has realized that McLaurin is the key to success there. Yeah. I do like Adam Thielen on the whole. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. It's a Thursday night. The Panthers are on the road. This just does not suggest a whole lot of points, and that could impact Thielen's fantasy scoring ultimately.
I was just like the Bears' defense. They're not terrible against receivers.
No, they're not terrible. I mean, they're not great, but they're not terrible against receivers. And the Panthers have had a tough time protecting the quarterback. Look, I know people are wondering whether or not the Panthers made a mistake drafting Bryce Young. I'm not ready to say that. They need an offensive line to protect him. And as long as he is under pressure, it's going to be hard for him to be completely productive.
Yeah, it's very well said, Mark. It's like we've seen, and the thing is, we've seen a lot. Like, were people saying Peyton Manning sucked when he went 1-15, or Aikman and others? Like, if you can't protect your quarterback, I don't care how good he is, especially as a rookie, he's coming in there. He just got frothing at the mouth, some of the fastest defensive ends he's ever faced in his career. And it's like, oh, geez, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Well, yeah, of course not.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly what it is. And I think when you compare the offensive line in Carolina versus what C.J. Stroud has in Houston, you'll notice a major difference in the fact that C.J. Stroud is not under pressure consistently, I think has really impacted him. And I do think that the Peyton Manning and Troy Aikman comparisons are apt because, I'm sure someone somewhere probably did say Peyton Manning sucked after his first year. That person was foolish. Had egg on their face for the next, decade and a half. But I think you realize that this is a team sport, and if the guys up front aren't protecting you, it's going to be hard for you to get anything done.
Awesome stuff, Marcus. We appreciate it. Have a great day.
Hey, appreciate it. Take care, Jason.
There you go. That is Marcus Grant talking some fantasy, brought to you by Next Gen Transportation. We'll come back. We'll hear from Jay Woodcroft's thoughts. The Oilers getting set to take on the San Jose Sharks. Some early games in the NBA and the NHL to discuss when we wrap up a busy Wednesday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 live on Oilers Nation YouTube, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Looking to tackle your backyard projects with power and precision this fall? Look no further than Kubota compact tractors. Experience the perfect blend of compact size and unbeatable value with Kubota. Right now, take advantage of financing as low as 0% for up to 84 months and save up to $1,500 on select models. Plus, as the temperature drops, get ready for Alberta winters with confidence with Kubota Performance Match snowblowers, sweeper, and blades. Visit Edmonton Kubota today for details.
No project too difficult. No problem too complex for Action Electrical. Edmonton's leading electrical contractor is a family-run business since 1973 and proud to offer complete commercial electrical services of the highest quality. When you need a contractor to design, build, implement, and maintain complex systems or emergency electrical assistance, help is here with the professionals. Book a service call at actionelectrical.net today. That's actionelectrical.net.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is sounding the call. Don't struggle through winter with a furnace you can't trust. For maintenance before winter strikes, call Legacy. Call Legacy. For furnace tune-ups and repairs to give peace of mind, call Legacy. Call Legacy. Or to scrap your old furnace for a brand new high-efficiency one, call Legacy. Call Legacy. And with no payments, no interest for 1 year on your new furnace, it's gotta be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies. With state-of-the-art motor coaches, we provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Any team looking to trade up is wise to wait for the right conditions. Right now at Volvo Cars Edmonton, they've got some exceptional offers to help move the remaining 2023 inventory. So whether your team wants to head to the game in the sporty XC60 or the spacious XC90, you'll get up to $5,000 off or finance rates from 2.49%. Volvo Cars Edmonton is Canada's only 12-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Visit 1205 101st Street Southwest or chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com.
They say there ain't no I in team, and maybe so, but a K has a nice ring to it. In fact, 10K is how we roll at the Canadian Brewhouse. The CBH offers a teams and leagues program with a chance at free offers and exclusive deals. Plus, book your fundraising event at our house, and you'll automatically be entered to win $10,000 for your group. Whatever your sport choice, we hope to put 10K in your team, if you know what I mean. Sign up today at thecanadianbrewhouse.com.
It's time to change the game. Hundreds of boys are waiting for a male mentor like you. And the new Game Changers program at BGC Bigs makes being a mentor easier than ever. All you need to do is show up ready to play. Sports, board games, hands-on projects. The choice is yours and your mentees. Be a game changer in the life of a young person and help set them up for future success. Hurry, the deadline to apply is Monday, November 20th. Learn more at bgcbigs.ca/gamechangers.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, the clear choice for all your auto, residential, and commercial glass. Call 310-GLASS or book now at crystalglass.ca.
He's not just another pair of glasses. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for checking out Edmonton Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Sports 1440, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you as it's time to go in the community now, brought to you by United Sport and Cycle, a fourth generation family-owned and operated business in the heart of Old Strathcona. It's been supporting hockey and the community of Edmonton for over 95 years. It's United Sport and Cycle. And man, right now it is a great time of the year. There is so much going on at and we're not talking NHL. Everybody knows what the Oilers schedule is, Conman. But of course, the University of Alberta Golden Bears football team, they're in UBC in the Huddy Cup, a chance to get to the Final Four.
Yeah, lots going on in town here and around with the teams in the city here. Like you said, taking on UBC, it's the 86th Huddy Cup. That'll go 2 o'clock on Saturday, Thunderbird Stadium. If you're looking to go to some games this weekend, plenty of things going on. We'll start off with the AJ on Sherwood Park, obviously tonight, taking on Olds, if you want to get out there. But on the weekend, you've got Spruce Grove hosting Whitecourt, and then the Crusaders taking on Drumheller. And then Saturday night, crosstown rivalry. Always love to see that going on between the Saints and the Crusaders.
Yep.
The Edmonton Oil Kings, they're in action home and home with the Calgary Hitmen. So they're in Calgary on Friday night, but then on Saturday, taking on the Hitmen down at the Ice District. You can check that one out. Golden Bears hockey. You've got the home and home there. So Mount Royal Friday night for the Golden Bears. Then they'll host at the Drake Saturday at 7. The Pandas doing the flip. They host on Saturday. If you're into the court sports at the Saville Center, Bears and Pandas volleyball hosting Trinity Western. And then you have the Bears and Pandas basketball team. They'll be on the road taking an MRU. That's also Friday and Saturday. And then, you've got the McEwen Griffins taking on Trinity Western out in Langley. That's a Friday, Saturday thing. And then the women will host Trinity at the Downtown Community Arena. Over the weekend, 2 games there. Grant McEwen men's and women's basketball taking on the University of Saskatchewan on the road. And then volleyball, the men host UBC. This is talking to Grant McEwen, and the women are off this weekend. They'll host Brandon next weekend. And for those who want to check out Nate, I know a lot of the radio people here, the proud Nate alumni. The men have a home and home with Portage College this weekend. Friday night is the home game, and the women have a home and home with Lakeland College. They'll have their home game Saturday at 6. So basically, everything you want to watch this weekend in town, there's a little something going on.
Oh, it's you know what? There's so many good activities for people. I'd highly recommend. Last year I took my son to a basketball game, and now he's hooked. He loved it. We also went to a volleyball game, and he was amazed at the athleticism of volleyball and like how hard they hit the ball. Right. Obviously, volleyball is a tough one for young kids. Well, maybe there's a volleyball program that I'm unaware of, but sure, you can learn how to bump and stuff, but one of the best parts about volleyball is just power, right? The ability and their jumping ability. Obviously, size is a factor for a lot. Obviously the setters don't necessarily have to, but most of the power are big on both the men and the women's side. But it's great stuff. If you've never seen university volleyball, I would highly, highly recommend going. And that Crusaders Saints game on Saturday night, Conman, it is going to be rocking in Sherwood Park. That it's been a good rivalry for a long time, but you look at the Crusaders are a very good team. The Saints had a slow start, but they they improved their back end and they're looking good. And it is I think that's unfortunately I have an event on Saturday night. Otherwise I would love to go because I think it's going to be a great game. And the Saints fans travel well. That'll be a fun atmosphere. So if you're in Sherwood Park, if you've never gone, you should go see the Crusaders and the Saints on Saturday night.
Yeah, 100%. I'm definitely going to get out at some point. I am committed to do the Oilers Nation pre- and post-game shows. Going to hop on there with Aaron Bordato on this Saturday night.
Okay, nice.
So looking forward to that. It's been a while since I've got a chance to do that one, but for sure, Ashley and I have talked about that. We definitely want to get down to the Saville Center and, just show up. If it's basketball or volleyball, it'll be a great time no matter what. But you're right. Volleyball is a sport that I have said I don't like, but it's just because I have no ability at it. Obviously, I'm not very tall, not that
Can't
powerful.
Be a setter?
Yeah, well, maybe I'm not agile enough to do that one, but respect the heck out of all the athletes that play volleyball because, like you said, I mean, when they just hammer it, just being able to have to take that, I don't know, it wouldn't work out too well for me. I don't think I'd be the one who takes it off the face. So yeah, it's always fun to go watch.
Oh man, they hit the ball hard. And you've seen lots of those video clips online, right? The defender, somebody spikes it and boom, it's right in their face. Like, it's hard to react. Like, honestly, that thing is coming and you're close. Like, it's like a comebacker in baseball, but you're infinitely closer, right? Like, think about when the pitcher gets hit. Like that ball's coming in quick. Well, think about you have people on defense in volleyball and how fast that's coming at you, man. It is, it's a great sport. So lots going on. I love it. That's in the community, brought to you by United Cycle. I'll finish. We got a lot of texts coming in our Jiffy Lube inbox, 833-401-1440. Hey guys, I don't actively cheer against the Oilers, even though I'm not a fan of them, but I can't lie. The Leahy angle has me thinking about cheering for a Sharks victory. Imagine the Gregor family Christmas card. Scalding gourd. Hey, guys, if the Oilers can take a dump on fans to start the season, then I can take a game off to see this hairstyle come to life. Go Sharks from the burglar. It's hurtful. It's very, very hurtful. So, rooting for a bad decision. Although I kind of have to admit, you know what? If it was role reversal, I could understand why you would do it. I get it. Gregor, as much as I want to see you look like an ass clown for 6 months, the Oilers need the win more. I'm cheering for the win. Diehard Oiler fan, Bruce. Well, Bruce, I'm not sure I would be looking like a butt clown. Okay, like, come on. His face is still Adonis-like, right? Even the back of the hair. Hey, look at Costanza. I'm bald, I'm unemployed, and live at home with my parents. Hello. See? It's all about the personality. All right? So
we had a text come in, Gregor. No, sorry, it was on the YouTube chat, and I think it was Pancakes Penner said you could wear the bandana, dye the beard, and then go for the like Hollywood Gregor look. A little spin on Hollywood Hogan, you know?
Ooh. Yeah. Oh, trust me, I'd have to think of a lot of different things to try to distract from it. That would be one. 100%. Right? I saw a reel the other day, and it had this guy, and it was showing up all these toupees that you could. So if I grew it out, I'd be like, yeah, I might get a toupee in the middle. Right? Suddenly it was like Costanza. Look, remember George? Yeah. Elaine? I used to be bald. I could do that too. God, that's something I would actually consider. Right? Maybe get like a little toupee to go once you have it. Oh, man. Because it'd be a game changer. Probably people wouldn't even know who I am. Outstanding. Hopefully it doesn't have to become even an option, but we'll find out tomorrow night. Have yourselves a wonderful Wednesday. On behalf of Connor and Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Hey, if you missed Charlie Huddy, go to jasongregor.com. The interview's there. Get at the podcast. Anywhere you get your podcast. There was a great interview today with Charlie, also Mike Rupp. Here's the Con Man Sports 1440 update brought to you by our good friends at Fountain Tire. And the Road Ready sales event is on right now. Select tires up to $225 off. And you get a bonus $50 off if you book any appointment, any service right now at fountaintire.com. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers. Today, Jack Campbell clearing waivers. He's been assigned to the AHL's Bakersfield Condors in a corresponding move. The Oilers recalling Calvin Pickard. He has a record of 2-2 on the season so far with a save percentage of .903. 3 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. After 20 minutes, Sens and Leafs tied at 1 apiece. And midway through the first, the Caps leading the Panthers 1-0. Later tonight, Golden Knights take on the Kings. That's an 8 o'clock puck drop. In the association, the Raptors in action tonight. They'll take on the Dallas Mavericks. That gets going in about 40 minutes. Right now, Wizards lead the Hornets 49-37. Pacers have a 48-47 lead over the Jazz. Celtics and 76ers tied at 44 apiece. Later tonight, Bucks host the Pistons. Pelicans take on the Timberwolves. Thunder host the Cavs. And the Warriors taking on the Nuggets. In the NFL, the New York Giants announcing that they'll start rookie quarterback Tommy DeVito against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday. And in the majors, free agent third baseman Matt Chapman met with several teams at the GM meetings this week, including the Jays, who he spent the last 2 seasons with. In the AJ, 4 games on the schedule, Sherwood Park hosting the Old Grizzlies. That one gets going just after 7. And that'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. We're back with Fox Sports at 9 p.m. And then tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with Kevin Carius, Brandon Douglas, and guest host Laddie Schmid. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the